Hoo-ha.
Hoo.
Hoo-ha.
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 Hoo.
We're on the internet.
Oh, boy.
Hey, hey,
Internets.
Hey.
What's an internet?
do you recall several years ago a mimetic video entitled "The Internet is for Porn"?
What? What's porn?
I do.
It's the naked people
Naked people. Whoa.
in a sexual setting, either doing things to themselves or others, or sometimes just laying there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, in general,
Yeah,
as long as it ain't hurting nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. BMFcast is live on the internet.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh.
I should watch that.
I hope you're here.
I am. How about you?
Not you or you. I meant like
You don't hope we're here?
Eh,
I'm here.
Yeah.
eh,
Eh,
I don't know.
I could go either way.
I don't know. I don't know.
You boys.
I'm happy I'm here. Hello, Robert Connolly of BMFcast live stream participation fame
Where do you see this person?
in the chat.
Yeah. You should.
He says, "Hey BMFcasters, I'm here too."
I got
fucking no
I
chat.
got fucking no chat.
Refresh.
I'm going to refresh.
refresh
I'm
again.
going to see what happens when I do that.
I see chat.
There it is.
You should pop that out.
You can't fucking pop it out on a
There it
fucking
is.
Chromebook.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you fucking eat all the RAM.
You can eat a ram.
Chuck knows nothing about computers.
Mm-hmm.
Dowling.
Come on. All the RAM.
Ooh, you should watch Murder Weapon. It's 'cause
Okay.
It's got the guy in it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
The guy.
Well, you know, the guy. This looks pretty promising, though. You know, let me look at it.
Oh, we've got that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's from Film Trust. It's films you can trust.
Trust it, because it's like
They
it has-
lust for revenge.
Yeah.
They do it at night, and they're more than lethal. It's kind of a
I
shitty
believe that's a
tagline.
David Dakota film.
David Dakota. As Ellen Cabot.
Whoa. Fancy.
Mm-hmm.
Cabot. Right. Fucking goofy motherfucker.
Yep. It's me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah. Fucking
Happy Honda days.
Shaka Khan to you and yours.
Yeah. That's correct, Bob.
Wait, was I here for 4?
Yes. I
When
don't
was
know.
that?
That was during 1990 year.
Oh, fuck, I don't remember that.
Fuck.
Oh, God. Oh, fuck. I don't know.
Where the hell was that?
1990 year was like, A, was 4,000 years long,
Mm-hmm.
and B, was probably pre-2016, so I've
You were here.
taken drugs.
It
You
was-
gave Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 3 bags.
Okay, no surprise there. It's probably because I hadn't seen the first 3.
Yeah, you were
Probably
totally lost.
You were very lost. You
You'll-
needed to see this one, which
Would've- yeah.
perfectly encapsulated the
Yeah.
first one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Uh-huh.
But Mackey's not here. Someone has to bang on the table.
All right.
Is Mackie a bit?
Every time I do something.
That's right. He does get mad and bang on the table. I forgot about that.
Usually holding that little barbell thing.
I know, it's his ring. He always taps his ring.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
He's fucking Frank Underwood.
Yeah.
Less rape.
Right. Hopefully.
Well,
It's the only time I've ever wished I wore a pinky ring.
So you can do that shit?
Yeah. Because that's fucking emphatic.
Oh, yeah.
Good gesture. It's a sad thing that what's his name had to go and be all creepy and get himself canceled.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad. I don't know if it's the right word. But I mean, it's unfortunate all around.
It's bad that he committed crimes.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have done that.
It is bad that other
He's just
people
a boy.
were victims of crimes.
Which is the problem.
Right. Yes.
Don't be creepy. You out there in internet land that are listening to us right now or in the future.
Right.
Or if you're in the past, I don't know how you got this, but be careful with the knowledge that you're about to hear after this statement. Don't be creepy. Don't be bad to people.
Right.
Don't be creepy. Don't be bad.
Don't be creepy. Don't be bad.
If you do it, make BJ sad.
If you do it, make me sad.
No doubt about it.
I don't want to be a sad boy.
Yes, if we could have one Christmas wish, it would be, don't be creepy, you creepy fucks. Thank you.
Consent. It's very simple.
Do these people just like intentionally get their names wrong, or like were they just like not wanting to actually participate in this movie, or were they just so lazy with this movie?
What do you mean, like romance?
No, like
Robert
all the
Mance?
cast
Yeah,
members. There's like 4 different people. It's like as somebody else. I mean, one is just throws in a middle initial, but the other one it's like the main actress Jennifer. Her name's spelled wrong.
Yeah. Well, she did that for a while. She had a weird agent who kept fucking up her name.
Okay. And there's another guy that just like has a completely different name.
Yeah.
Another one's just like spelled differently. It's like okay.
Would you want to be associated with this?
Yes, I would.
Look,
actually.
man, I'll take any film credit I can get right
Yeah.
now.
Shit.
I'm a starving actor.
Look, man.
Look, man. Robert, you may be spooky as much as you like.
Yeah.
As long as you're not creepy.
Everyone's spooky because there's a skeleton inside them.
Yes.
We are all inherently spooky.
Mm-hmm.
Can't help it.
Did you know inside your body are enough bones to create an entire skeleton?
That's not true for everybody. So that's exclusionary.
It's enough to create their entire
Oh,
skeleton.
okay.
Mostly, usually.
I've got an extra bone.
I'll give you one.
You remember Gomez Adams? Gomez Adams is spooky and not creepy. He loves his wife and
He's
family very
creepy
much.
and kooky. Mysterious and spooky.
Yeah.
Altogether
Ookie.
They're the Adams family.
Yeah. I mean, they do what they want to do. They say
Yeah.
what they want to say. They
Right.
live how they
Wanna-
want to live, and they play how they want to play.
Kick and they slap a friend.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
Dance how they want to dance.
Yeah. I mean,
God,
they're
I
too
wish I
legit. Too legit to quit.
Hey,
Hey.
But you're not legit. So you should just quit.
Well, fine. I mean,
Wow.
I figured one day I would get fired from this podcast, but I didn't think it'd be on the live stream.
I didn't mean from the podcast.
Well, what are you telling me to quit?
I don't know. It's something. Yeah.
There-
It's New Year's is coming up, so quit something.
Well, okay.
Something. Yeah.
Well, maybe it'll be my job.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
Right. Hey, it's 9:30. Let's light this candle.
Okay. All right.
I had some more jokes to make.
Why don't you make them on the podcast for
No.
the people?
Oh,
Oh.
they're not relevant to the podcast. I just like doing this live stream thing.
We're going to keep doing it.
I know, but like I have to pretend to pay attention to the podcast. I can't interact with the people. That's all I really like.
He's a people person, damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Are we recording?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a question to ask before I recorded the intro.
Nope. Don't like it.
Bad.
No, sir, I don't like it.
All right, and welcome to the BMFcast.
Hey!
Hey,
BMFcast.
Episode 492.
Woo!
Whoo.
Woo.
Yeah.
I like those numbers because they keep going up.
Yeah. We stay the same age. I wish. Anyway, I'm Harlow.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
We are Mackie-less once again, but at least we're here.
We are.
We have recovered from all of our various illnesses, except Matt. I don't have no idea where Mackie
we
is.
all got over our Mackie-itis.
Mackie died.
Yeah.
He became just he took upon all our illnesses at once.
We had a Mackiotomy.
See, I kept my sickness away from you guys. You guys got sick on your own.
Oh.
I didn't give
Somehow.
him what I had.
I know. That's what
I was sick with my own shit.
You all got sick independently.
Yeah.
Right. With different shit. It's amazing.
It's true.
And Mackie probably got both of what you had, and now he's dead.
Yes.
Most likely. Hey, but you know what we do? Each
Podcast.
and every episode of this here BMFcast is?
Yes.
We go and we watch ourselves a quote-unquote bad movie. Then we come in here and talk about it for the first half. Then they get ratings, good bad movies, enjoyable bad movies. They get 1 to 5 jocks and robot jocks.
Robot jokes.
Robot jocks.
Robot jocks indeed.
Robot jocks.
However, there are bad movies. There are bad
However.
However, there are bad movies, so stay away. They get a negative sliding scale, 1 to 5 bags, and giant bags of trash.
Oh, no. Throw about.
I said giant bags of trash.
Garbage day.
Yeah, garbage day.
Right,
indeed.
yeah.
That is an accurate description of the podcast.
Garbage day?
Yeah, every Friday it's,
Well,
it's garbage day.
I meant the whole thing.
Oh.
But, garbage day is also accurate.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't figured that out by us saying garbage day several times, it's Christmas. And with Christmas comes...
Garbage day.
Yeah, it's Christmas. It's a fucking garbage day. Get over it, yeah.
Wow, sick burn.
Fuck you, Christmas industry. But no, we watched Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Part 2.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
We've
Part
watched
2.
We've watched this in a very strange order.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4, which
Yep.
is a Sino, a sequel in name only.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do not recall that at all.
It's probably not important.
It was about
Most
sentient
likely.
worms that
Uh-huh.
Clint Howard had something to do with. They were on rooftops a lot. That's about it.
Is there a TV station?
No.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, you guys talk.
Just look it up here. But yeah, then we watched the first one. I believe
Yeah, we
last,
did,
last
yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah, we did.
And then
Last
we're back
Christmas.
around with the
second
sequel.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of the first one and some more.
Oh my God, is it a lot of the first one?
Yeah. Would you like a plot
It
summary
is-
for this thing?
yeah,
oh.
yeah,
Oh,
I would.
oh, okay. All right. You make me do this, so
I know.
I'm just
You
doing it.
make me do this.
The now adult Ricky talks to a psychiatrist about how he became a murderer after his brother Billy died, which leads back to Mother Superior.
Cool.
Yep. Great plot summary there.
It's
Pretty accurate.
it's accurate.
Naughty.
Yeah. So yes, Ricky, who was the baby left in the car when the parents got murdered,
Yep.
who should not remember any of that,
Nope.
is now grown up, as that I just alluded to, and the first 45 minutes to an hour takes place in a psychiatric hospital, like in a room.
The first 45 minutes to an hour takes place in the first movie.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, but I mean, it's all in the service of, like, this psychiatrist comes in, we watch a very long, detailed setting up of a reel-to-reel tape recorder, and he begins recording the conversation, and then Ricky proceeds to recount the first movie by showing most of the first movie.
Yes, I've never seen anything like this before.
Yeah, it's kind of fascinating, like, just how much of the footage of the first movie makes up the footage of this movie.
Yeah.
But thankfully, between the various scenes as we're jumping from point to point, is modern day Ricky punctuating certain scenes with super smarmy dialogue.
Now get a load of this, Doc. You know, it's shit like that.
But then eventually he gets to the end of the first movie, and then there's nothing left but to begin this movie.
Right. Yes. Finally, they have nothing else to do but make their own movie.
Yeah, which basically concludes. I mean, I'm not going to try to recount the parts of the first movie.
No.
It's like I said, it's punctuated by him just overacting and hamming the fuck out of his scenes. He
doesn't stop that ever,
And-
for the
and
record.
There is some new footage intermingled in this. I mean, like it's mostly. I'm going to tell the story of what happened to my brother and how we were in an orphanage and how he went crazy and, murder people around Christmas in a Santa costume. Then it begins. I'm going to tell you flashbacks of how I ended up here, which is like the second act of the movie, sort of. I mean, probably a lot more truncated than the retelling of the first movie.
Right. The midsection is the Ricky origin story.
Right.
It's from the point where Billy died in front of him at the orphanage to when he got adopted to when he became his own serial killer.
Right. So it's not just like he ends telling the first movie and then he's out of the hospital and this movie begins. It transitions with, okay, brother died, then I grew up and I got adopted, and then slowly but surely I went crazy too.
I sure did.
And
Yeah, I went crazy, you stupid doctor.
yeah, but yes, I mean we see directly scenes of the first movie, him standing over the bloody axe, his brother dying, all of that. Like I said, we saw that movie. Then there's young version of him getting adopted by two, like a couple.
Yes.
And then a couple like minor weird things happen while he's like the 8-year-old version of himself.
Well, he sees some nuns.
Yeah, he's out like shopping with his mom, and some nuns come walking down the street, and he has a little bit of a panic attack. Then it doesn't make much sense. They go into a store and they cover the window with this red cloth.
It's an art store.
Sure.
And they cover up this painting with a piece of red cloth, and he is like, oh no, Santa's outfit.
Blood and Santa.
Seizure time.
Yeah.
And then they immediately take this kid back to the orphanage. They're like, this kid's broken.
Yeah.
Take him back.
But the dad's like, nah, he's my boy. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, and then he died.
And then 5 years later, he died. Now, what's weird is there are 3 actors portraying Ricky in this movie. There's the 8-year-old version of him, but then they hire like a middle teenager different actor for some reason, when this guy could totally pull off like...
Yeah, that 20-year-old mid version could have also been the elder. There's no reason.
I'm just saying, it's a weird thing for like 2 scenes. There's this like 15-year-old version of him, which that age gets a murder in finally.
Yeah, he does.
Because first it's just like, oh yeah, my stepdad died, and I was kind of sad, but I was really sad because I figured my stepmom was sad. Anyway, I went walking a lot.
Yeah,
and then he just ends up. He says he goes like walking out in the middle of nowhere, but we can clearly see they're basically like in people's backyards because there's houses like right there.
Yeah,
but there's a couple out there, and very similar to all of the other interactions in this movie, the guy gets rapey, and Ricky sees this, and basically the guy is just like. Whatever, I'm going to go get a beer from the car.
This scene is weird because it seems like he asks for consent,
it does.
Which she grants, and then he's like, well, fuck it, I'm going to get rapey anyway.
Well, basically, he goes like, I need you to say, yes, I want it.
Yeah.
And she's like, yes, I do want it, but not actually.
Yeah.
She just goes into this whole like, you're always grabbing me around your friends and everything, and I'm not in the mood now. And
yeah, she says, I want it later.
Yeah.
Just later, just not right now. Please stop trying to fuck me right now.
Right. Yes. So that happens, and then he walks away angrily. And this is the first time we realize that Ricky now has teleportation powers.
He does. But so this dude got rapey in the same way that Santa got rapey with the mother.
Right.
They staged it the exact same way and all the same motions. And Ricky is reacting to it like, oh, God, this is what happened to my mom. Mm-hmm. Except he was a fucking infant in that scene and couldn't see any of this.
Yeah.
But he's flashing back to it as it's happening.
I'm filling in the gaps, but I get the impression that his brother, like, told him all about it. Told him the stories of this so many times that, it's sort of like when your parents tell you stories about you as a baby. Eventually, you think you remember it, but you just heard the story so many times.
Sure.
I feel like that's that, but based on the first movie we saw, Billy became an introvert.
Billy never talked to his brother
in
that entire first movie.
That's what I mean. It's like, we always saw it was like him, have, normal reactions to a horrific thing that happened to him, and then being in an orphanage where the mother superior is just like, no, punishment's what's going to get that out of your head, not, psychotherapy.
Right.
And so he just became worse based on that. Mm-hmm. That's the movie. That's what the first movie is showing you. The main problem I think we determined in the first movie is that you show all this horrific stuff and you put them in this horrible situation when, even modern day sensibilities of when the movie was new was like, get that boy needs therapy. Like
that boy ain't right.
Yeah. I mean, and the main thing is like, by the end of the movie, you have no catharsis because like the person who not the person that started it, because that was an evil guy dressed as a Santa, but the person who turned him into a psychopath never gets her comeuppance.
Right.
And this movie feels like someone went like, hey, the evil nun I never actually got in the first movie. Mm-hmm. That feels, spoiler, that feels like what they were intending.
You see that in the first half of this movie.
You feel like that someone just like that was their grand idea for like, we got to make a sequel because the evil nun needs to get it in the end. But they make you dance around all this other bullshit to get there, and then it just doesn't come together in a exciting way. Anyway,
they had an idea for a short film basically,
right?
And then they were like, oh God, we have to find 45 minutes to pad this out.
Yeah.
So,
but yes, so he sees this, basically teleports, like the guy walks by his own Jeep from the back where he had a cooler,
looks in his own side mirror.
Like actually, I think he like makes sure the keys are still there or something. I don't know. He reaches in somehow, touches the keys. Mm-hmm. I thought he was gonna like take them with him or something, but whatever.
Yeah.
But then next thing you know, Ricky is teleported into the Jeep as he's walked past, and then just cranks it up and runs the dude over, and then backs up and does it like 10 times.
10 times.
Yeah.
To which the girlfriend comes over and is just like,
It's the weirdest, most awkward thing because she comes over, like shirt ripped open and all this, like, and then just like he gets out of the Jeep and they're standing like equidistant from the Jeep on either side of the screen, and she just goes,
it's like the good, the bad, the ugly
yeah.
here.
It's just she just is like, thank you.
Yeah.
And then they just silently walk away.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, all right, I guess.
Well, she refused the naughtiness, so she didn't deserve to be punished.
Right. I know. I just mean the exchange that like she was
I
okay
know.
with what happened.
I'm
and
totally
everything.
okay
Yeah,
with it.
yeah.
Like, she just like, cool, and then goes about her day. Like, how are you going to explain that when you get back to wherever you live?
Well, who knows what sort of day she went about. She just disappears.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah. But when we're done with that version of that Ricky,
Uh-huh,
now
yeah.
he's all grown up.
Yeah.
But what basically the catalyst, like, so the trappings of the doctor interviewing him come to a head basically because like they're making progress and he's been telling all this story and he's
Progress.
well, whatever, he's recording all these reels, which is funny because like whenever there's a long break between showing you clips of the first movie, he's changing a reel on the reel-to-reel cassette, which I was just like, oh, we got to get to the next reel of the first movie here.
Mhm.
Like, tell us what happened in this reel.
Yeah.
Like he's
And
narrating
the
it.
flashbacks literally end as the second reel starts spinning empty, and it's like,
Yeah.
okay, well, no more of that.
Yeah. But he basically eventually is like, hey, tell me about Jennifer. And Ricky's just like, fuck you. And just goes into this whole other next level thing.
Well,
Because,
no, before that is the story of he's making fun of the doctor because like, oh, I bet you went to fancy college, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, right, yeah.
I couldn't go to college, so I had to get a job. And then he's like washing dishes or something, and then there's a bookie beating up a guy who's not paying his debts, and then Ricky comes over and just bumps into him, and the guy's like, hey, look, pal. And then Ricky murders him, like flings him, he's got serial killer strength because
Right.
of course he does.
Yeah.
And
Well, his brother had serial killer strength too. It runs
yeah,
in the family.
and it just you transfers over when you say the magic word naughty, and then
Yes.
you become
yeah. But he
Yeah.
picks up this dude that's basically his entire, his height,
Mm-hmm.
flings him against a wall, and then pins him up against the wall, by his neck,
Yeah.
reaches in the garbage and fishes out an umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
A nice, long, old school one with, pointy end.
Yep.
It's,
a good penguin umbrella.
Yeah. But so he impales the dude and then opens up the umbrella.
Yeah,
It's
Classic.
it's kind of great.
classic Ricky.
Yeah. That's my Ricky.
Story of Ricky.
Yeah, and it's so like the camera. It starts raining, and the camera pushes in on this bloody umbrella, and then it fades to the doctor who is just drenched in sweat, and he's like, I'd never heard these two stories before. I got to check my notes. And like this is like another instance where he's panicking and then looks straight ahead and Ricky's not there and he's like, "What the shit?" And then Ricky just pops up right next to him. He's like, "Hey, doc."
Well, I feel like
Like the doc's spatial awareness is real strange.
there was something to do with Jennifer in there too, because when he does the pop up on the side by him being sweaty, I believe that's when he looks down and sees the notes "red car." Oh, that's what it was. He hadn't told anyone the story of murdering the guy in the field at 15,
Right.
The attempted rapist.
Yeah.
Right.
So he told about that murder and
Yeah.
then the bookie murder back to back. He was like, "Hey, doc, I'm going to blow your mind. I'm going to tell somebody I've never told anybody else." Tells those two stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's because the guy's like drenched in sweat and just like scribbling out "red car" because he just has this line. He's like, "Red car, good notes." Just, he's been over smarmy, overacting this entire time with all of his little punctuation things, but this is the point where he like really ramps it up.
Yeah.
because he's just in the doc's face like, "Nice notes there, doc." Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That was actually like all of that overacting was incredibly annoying to me. Like you guys were yucking it up. You guys were having a blast with it, but it just I don't know what it was about it. It just was so
I was grasping at straws
like
for something in this movie.
inconsequential and
I just like
I
that
was
every
annoyed.
line read was like a drunken Shatner. It was just
it was just like
nice notes.
I was like, okay, fine, whatever, dude. Like,
I just like that every choice this guy makes is wrong.
yes, that's true. But like
I admire that kind of acting.
this is right at the point where it started either I broke or it started to actually get good. the overacting because it finally started to make me chuckle at about this point.
Well, it just kept getting more and more absurd.
Well, like I said, just the teleportation, because like the doc comes to his, it's even better how it's framed because the doc comes to his senses with all the sweat on his face, and they seem like they keep wanting to establish some certain themes in this movie, but they're so lazy with their filmmaking that they didn't bother because he pulls out a handkerchief and like dabs at his forehead. And it's got it's like monogram with a red R or something. Whatever is the doctor.
No, that was the bookie who did that. The bookie had a big red.
The doc
handkerchief.
had
the bookie had a big red handkerchief, but the doc had a white handkerchief
with a red monogram.
A red B.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever his name was. It's monogram, but it's red because like he looks at it, he like dabs at his sweat, and then looks at the red, and then like quickly folds it up.
Yeah,
like red is going to set Ricky off.
He knows that red's dude's trigger.
Yeah, like a bull.
He knows. He knows.
But so that's the thing is like he notices the red, folds up the handkerchief, and like notices like, oh shit, I've got lost in taking notes or whatever. Where's Ricky? And Ricky does that like pop up like right like
hello,
side by right next to his face like
yeah.
Good notes, Doc.
Like a fucking Muppet.
Alien face.
Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of great, and then he asks him to tell the story of Jennifer,
right?
Which that's where he gets really angry about it, and then he's just like, I never want anything to happen to Jennifer, and starts in the flashback again, and it's basically just like, I literally bumped into her, which he was like pushing his bike out of a parking spot. She's trying to pull in and just taps his bike. And then makes him. He just falls over like the most like stupid and
he falls over like it's an insurance scam.
Yeah,
it's like
kind of yes.
I'm dead, and she just gets out and is like, "Oh, you," and he's like, "Oh, wait, you're hot," because the movie actually plays sexy sax when she gets out because she has legs, because legs means oh my god, hot lady, but she's kind of hot.
Yeah, gams.
But yeah, she's got nice cams.
It's French for legs.
Nice getaway sticks there.
But they just ride through the hills for a while.
Yeah,
and
they
end up
rain.
somewhere.
They purple rain for a bit, and
they fuck.
Yeah, they fuck. There's some tasteful side boob.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, all right, let's go on a date. And
well, part of his smarmy voiceover says, "She was my first. But I found out I wasn't hers. That's bad. Yeah. It's like, all right, guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then they're like, and then we went to the movies.
Yeah. And they go to the movies to watch a fucking movie about a murdering Santa, which is just footage from the first movie.
Yep.
It's the footage of the Santa committing the robbery and everything.
Okay. There's a lot of good stuff in this scene. One of the best things about it is how it starts because it's just a narrator narrating Chaos the movie. It's literally called Chaos the movie, and it's just describing every action thing that you would want in a movie. And he's like, yeah. And she's like, oh, don't tell me you like this kind of stuff. And he's like, all right.
Yeah, that's... What's weird is like that's an actual attitude for people that are I wouldn't even say they're movie fans because like there are some people that are just genre fans. Mm-hmm. Like they don't like movies in general.
Yeah.
They just like certain genres.
Right.
But I swear to God that is actually a thing that I could imagine somebody, not just a woman, but somebody actually saying like,
oh sure,
that like a guy's like watching an action movie like fuck yeah, I want to watch this movie, and you're literally about to sit and watch a horror movie with just as much violence and other bullshit.
Yeah.
And then going like, I can't believe you like that. It's like, the fuck are you talking about? We're about to watch people get stabbed. And
they weren't seated for Out of Africa.
Right. Yeah. Fucking, Bambi or something.
But she acts like, oh, you like this? And he's like, yeah. We're about to watch the same movie.
Just different motivations.
Why did you come here with me? Why did you agree to go to Chaos, the murder stabby Santa movie?
Oh, no, Chaos was a preview.
Yeah. Because there's a dude in the back row who's just like, come on, play the movie. This is bullshit.
Right.
It's so
But why
dumb.
did you agree to come watch the murder Santa movie with me if you didn't like some of the other stuff in the murder hobo genre?
Yeah. It's like, well, I like murder, but I don't like car stunts. Car stunts are for children. I don't know. Their relationship is not well thought out.
No,
because
it's not.
She's going to be dead soon.
But yes, there is a dumb heckler in the back row who has a non-SAG carrying friend who kind of looks like Jeff Foxworthy, I believe we all came across.
Yeah.
And this
he
guy
is slunk down in his seat like, I can't believe I'm sitting next to this guy.
Yeah.
And the other guy is just like, movie, and like flinging handfuls of popcorn in the air, trying to catch it all with his mouth and just being an ass. And Ricky's like, naughty, and then vanishes.
Well, first they start to make out first.
Right.
Because then the guy's like, oh, you're going to make out with her. Like that.
Yeah.
And then eventually he watches the murdering Santa on the screen for a minute and then is like snaps into murder mode.
Well, he's like, what is this movie even about? And she's like, it's about a Santa Claus who murders people. And he's like, what? You could just see him like break, like,
Yep. But he gets up and eventually murders that guy by teleporting into the spot that his silent Jeff Foxworthy friend was in.
Right.
Did he teleport onto him?
Yeah, it's like they do this like back and forth camera thing where you're watching the goofy Matt Dillon looking motherfucker like, cause a ruckus, and then like he's panning over to the guy just like, oh God, why am I friends with this asshole?
Yeah, please shut up, guy.
And then like, it's the old like rule of thirds, because on the third pan over, it's Ricky, you're sitting there instead, and he's just like, shh, and then like goes into immediate murder mode, which we don't really see. We just see
this is just a comedy bit because they just go to the floor and it's just legs
and popcorn.
Yeah. Because then meanwhile, what's her face is
Chip has shown up behind Jennifer.
She's just chilling watching this movie, and all of a sudden, fucking this guy named Chip just pops up behind her, fucking douchebag, just like, hey, it's you. I remember you.
Yeah. I've been waiting on you. Why haven't you returned my calls?
Never mind. This theater has like 7 seats in it, and there's nowhere for Chip to have been. He literally just emerges like, Chris Elliott, guy under the seats, comes out and is just like, hey, lady, I remember, lady, we used to do stuff with your lady parts. And she's like, shut the hell up. She says 3 things. You lied to me. You cheated on me.
You stood me up. You cheated on me. You ruined my sweater.
Like,
oh yeah, ruined my sweater.
And we're like, what happened? That escalated to that? It must have been like he must have just fucking shit in it or something. Like,
I think someone shit on the sweaters. Damn it, Chip.
Chip shit on the sweaters again.
Fucking Chip, man.
But finally he's
a
just
real
like,
chiphead.
it's forever. He's just like, hey, remember that time we boned? And she's like, shut up.
And then he like looks over and is like his actual date. So I think Chip just walked into the theater and saw Jennifer because his date is standing in the aisle like, excuse me?
The fuck are you doing? Chip.
And he's just like, oh yeah, her or whatever. Yeah, she's not very
She'll
patient.
do until you're ready. She'll keep me in shape.
Anyway, bye.
Yeah.
And then like he walks away, and then Ricky is magically teleported into the seat on the opposite side of her.
Which I don't think is a seat.
No, huh?
I think she was sitting on the end of the
no,
aisle.
he's in a seat. It's just
Well.
like he was to her right, left on screen.
It's insane.
But and again, it just pans over, and he's just sitting there, and she's like, "Oh, you're back.
Yeah.
We should go." Like And he's like, "No, I'm kind of into this movie.
Yeah,
now."
I like this movie.
And then we're done with that scene.
Right.
But then they're just walking down the street like the next day, talking about like, "I don't know, maybe we'll go shopping on my bike." And then they run into Chip working on his Stang.
Chip Stang.
Yeah, the Chip Stang.
Yeah.
Chip Stings.
And he's like, hey, you remember that time we fucked?
Yeah, pretty much.
And she's like, stop it. And this just leads to Chip getting murdered with a jumper cable.
Yeah, yes. I don't know what he was doing, but he had active jumper cables or battery charger, really. I mean, because there's no other car.
Yeah.
But he's got active like battery charger on his car doing something, and then of course Ricky just gets it, shoves it in the dude's mouth, and then eventually like kind of explodes his brain inside of
His
him.
eye pops through his glasses.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
And
His face
He becomes a chip off the old engine block.
his face happens to quit being a face.
yes.
Yeah.
And Jennifer's like, I don't like you anymore.
Well, she's just like, you murdered him. Yeah, you're crazy. I don't want to be by you anymore. And then he just breaks off the radio antenna and strangles her.
Right. Which she sees him do that, and she makes a comical gulp sound, and then goes, "Oh no,
Oh no!" But she's like, "Oh no, you murdered him. You're terrible." And he's like, "That's rude. I'm gonna kill you for
Well,
that."
he does the naughty, and then she's like,
Yeah.
gulp. Oh no,
because she slept with Chip." And then there's a parked security guard, a fucking Barney Fife security guard there.
Who also has teleportation powers
Yeah.
because he just appears out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not like
he's parked immediately behind Chip. Hasn't arrived. He was there the whole time, and
Was
he's
he?
just, it seemed like it. There was no car arriving.
It would have been more confusing had a car arrived out of nowhere, I think.
I guess, but he's just like, hey.
We would have needed to see the first film where that car
Right.
appeared.
But he's just like, hey, nip this in the bud. Come on. Hey, I got my gun. You're going to put these cuffs on. And then Ricky's just like, nah, my gun. And shoots him in the forehead.
Well, no, he doesn't.
he doesn't even take the gun away. He just
he
somehow
turns
turns
it,
it around.
Yeah, he just turns it back on him and
And
lets
that guy
him shoot himself
kind
in
of
the
does a
face.
comical, like, blink, 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 and
Yeah,
sink
but-
down to the ground.
But now he's got a gun.
And he just realizes, like, oh, this is the greatest day of my life.
Yeah.
All that serial killing is hard. This makes it easy. I have a gun now.
And he just walks through town murdering indiscriminately.
It's just this suburb street of just people coming out of their houses.
Because like one guy's like just in a football jersey, like, "Hey, what's going on with the noise over there?" Blam, and then cut to the most infamous scene of the movie,
Right.
Because a guy is dragging his old school metal trash can down to the curb, and then Ricky's just standing there and gives the infamous like garbage day and shoots this guy through the garbage can.
Yep.
I believe he takes a brief break from murdering because a little girl rides up on her tricycle or whatever.
Yeah,
Who has not seen any of these murders.
and she rides directly into his legs.
Right.
And she's like, she looks up and goes, "I'm sorry, sir."
Excuse me. Yeah.
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 And he's
he
like,
says,
"No
"Oh, it's
problem."
okay."
Yeah. And lets
Anyway.
her go on her way.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah.
And now he's just randomly cackling as he's walking down the street.
Well, there's one more
Like
murder
you do.
because like a guy is just driving his car down the
Right.
street, and yes, but he's still cackling, just walking down the street. But it's just some dude's coming at him in a car, and he just shoots at him through the window like 3 times, and eventually makes the car. I guess he hits the guy, car swerves and catches on fire because that's what you do.
Well, the car hits just a construction pile of dirt, which is on every street, as you know.
Yep.
And so they've got the stuntman Ricky standing right there, and this car comes super dangerously close to clipping that guy, but then just flips over and then rolls over and then explodes.
Yep.
And he walks down this hill like, man, this is the greatest day of my life.
Yeah, he's just cackling some more and
Yeah.
all that, and eventually just. Again, teleportation powers. He walks across the screen as we realize there are cops in like a roadblock formation there, and they're all just like, "Gun down, buddy!
Put the gun down!
And
Don't make us do it!"
He slowly, very slowly, like cocks it and raises it. And they're like, "Don't do it, man!" And then he puts it in his own head, and then they switch to like, "No, man, it's not worth it. Don't do it.
You got so much to live for, dude. What are you doing?
Yeah,
It's like, what the
Christmas
fuck,
comes
cops?
every year, man. Come on."
It's like, no, just let him do it. But they do let him do it, but there's no more bullets in the gun.
Yeah.
The movie actually accurately did that. He used the right amount of bullets.
Yeah, and then it's just cut back to he's back in the room, and he's just like, I'm a stupid kid. I dumb mistake. I was
Yeah.
out of bullets. And then basically just he's monologuing for a minute, dramatically leaning against the wall and acting, and then we realize like at this point the shrink's dead. It just cuts over and he strangled him with like a belt or something, and he basically just walks out of the room.
He does. And you just hear the people in the hallway go, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
And then, fuck it, he got out.
I think I want to say, does he just murder? Like, does he murder any more random people? I think he does. Like,
No, he just goes straight to Mother Superior's house, doesn't
was
he?
it? I thought he stopped for like one more.
Oh,
Random
wait, no,
murder.
he kills the Salvation Army Santa to get the Santa
Oh,
outfit.
yep.
Yeah.
But that happens off camera.
Right. Yeah.
So,
we
the murder happens off camera. It's like slowly panning towards. You can hear the guy say, "Hey, Santa wants you to give $1 for crippled kids or whatever," and by the time it makes it to the little Salvation Army bucket, it's already disheveled and he's been murdered, and we hear off screen like a phone booth do its opening and closing, and then
He calls Mother Superior
he calls Mother Superior.
and just says,
What does he say?
He's just like, "Mother Superior,
Santa's back."
Santa's back." And
That's
she's like,
right.
"Hey, who's this?" He's like, "Click." And,
Yeah.
$12 and change processes through the phone.
Right. She was long distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But wherever she was, he just walks there.
Well, I mean, all right, before that, because we see her hang up the phone. All right, so there are a couple people that are same characters from the first movie, not same actors, because we have established, because remember there was the good nun, Sister Margaret, I believe her
Mary.
name was. Mary? Okay,
Sure.
Sister Mary. So it was like the one who was like basically going like, therapy, not punishment, and, all of that stuff.
Right.
So she's there, obviously not the same actress, but there's a scene. She's basically the one that organized him getting into the foster family that he grew up with, basically. But so when they try to take the defective kid back, she's shown like in a long shot, and we were like, oh, that's how you get around with not having the same actress.
Yeah.
But then they like later she's in full frame, and it's like, okay, like, so much for that theory. That she was just going to make a cameo, different actress. The way they've gotten around the Mother Superior not being the same person is they offhandedly say like she had a stroke or
She had a
something.
stroke.
But then they cut to her and she's got the plague on
Yeah.
half her face.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Bubonic plague has gotten half her face.
yeah.
Yeah.
She had a stroke of luck, and that she
She got
happened to be the kind of lucky where you get the plague.
She got stroked by a rat.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what they meant.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's just got, half her face is
Yeah.
bubonic.
Some of that bubonic chronic.
Michael Bubonic.
It's the season for Mikey Bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just her, like, hanging out in her place. Like,
But
oh no.
she's yelling at some kids outside or playing the fucking hopscotch like fucking rapscallions do
Right.
on Christmas Eve, and she's like, "Hey kids, you go to bed."
Oh,
It's
she doesn't even yell at
6:30."
them. She's just like, kids should be in bed.
Yeah.
She's just going back in her old, like,
Right.
discipline.
And then she like turns on the TV and it's the Christmas parade, and she's like, it's the devil's work. Never mind. Her address is 666 whatever the fuck Main Street.
That's a weird name of the street, man.
I'm just saying, she lives in the house number is 666, and she's like watching a Christmas parade, like, the fucking devils did this. Look at the fucking ice skaters and shit.
Yeah, Mother Superior saying fucking every other word.
They've taken the reason for the season out.
Yeah. Look at these snowmen dancing
These
around.
fucking snowmen dancing a fucking round on the fucking
Jesus
street.
would kill you.
Jesus would fuck you up.
You'd be Nazareth.
Rub my plague face on you.
That's such a good portmanteau. I am now Nazareth myself.
Nazareth. Yeah.
You better Nazza check yourself next time.
Yeah. But yeah, Ricky just shows up. He's like, I'm here.
He axes the door a couple questions and then opens it.
Yeah.
And then it becomes the weirdest thing ever because she.
It's a low-speed chase.
Yeah, I mean she's confined to a wheelchair,
Right?
Upstairs, right?
Upstairs.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
upstairs.
and so she's just slowly trying to lock doors / ram the doors with her wheelchair and barricade them, which just becomes a series of like he axes a small hole through the door so he can peek in and like menace her, while she is trying to like get her keys, because it's one of those like I'm going to die in my house kind of locks, because it's key locked on either side,
Right.
which,
Every door.
yeah, I mean, fuck people, like, do you just like burning alive? I mean,
Fuck people.
I'm sorry, I'm just like designs like that was ever a fucking thing ever in the history of ever. It's like, and then you're like, oh, 3 people died in a house. It's like, fuck you, of course they did.
Well, like my interior doors, it's especially weird to have a double,
Yes.
like a double key.
Yeah.
no
my-
deadbolt should ever be double keyed.
Well, okay.
there's not a
All
reason.
right, my back door has a window,
Okay.
and so if you don't double key the deadbolt, somebody could just punch in and unlock the
Sure.
deadbolt.
But
So,
this was her fucking bedroom door.
yes.
I'm just, I mean,
It had a window after he axed it.
at the end of the day, I mean, if you put a window on a door, the locks are just to keep honest people honest at that point anyway.
if we want to go that far, like
Yeah.
all locks are just to keep honest people
right,
honest.
exactly. But
Exactly.
a double keyed door is just asking to be burned alive, really.
Yes.
Anyway,
Or
but
I'm gonna just
Axed.
gonna karate kick out my window
Sure.
if I ever run into
she's
that
not karate
situation.
kicking shit.
Well, no.
No. 'Cause
She's
got the
barely
pl-
kicking.
She has the plague.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
A touch of the plague.
Right.
But anyway, it just becomes like, okay, she goes out some other door, which leads to another bedroom. He gets angry at the TV because it's talking about Christmas and Santa and shit, so he axes the TV. And she just is like slowly rolling down the stairwell or the hallway, trying to get to the stairs, which they don't do a very good job establishing, but I assume she has a chairlift on the stairs because she has a wheelchair upstairs. Because finally he just kind of catches up to her and is like, "Where are you going?" And like hanging onto her wheelchair, and then she's just like, "Fucking action
Peace
roll,
out.
yeah, fucking action roll down the stairs."
Hey, what's black, white, and black and white 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 and black and white?
What?
A nun rolling down the stairs.
You could have done a little bit better job selling the reselling.
You didn't sell it at all.
I was trying, but you went haha before I had a chance. He said this while we were watching the movie. This is
Yeah.
why we're not
I'd heard
reacting.
this joke before.
Yeah.
They both
Sorry.
laughed.
I'm not a good
uproar-
actor.
Yes.
Just so you know,
I'm
they
like
laughed,
Ricky. I'm not a good actor.
They laughed uproariously. It's not me. It's the judicial system. They laughed uproariously.
We did.
Yes,
it was
it
a
was.
in
very
the
good
studio
joke. It
when
was
we were watching the
fucking
movie.
great.
I hope you enjoyed it as well, listeners at home.
Yeah, just insert your own laughter there. You don't need us.
Which
We're not-
they did.
We're not the fucking Big Bang Theory. You're just fucking laugh for
Yeah,
yourself.
yeah. I'm sorry I provide that laugh track, but
Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway,
she rolls down the stairs and immediately like crawls into downstairs wheelchair.
she's got a bonus wheelchair, and she
then
just wheels away in
scooting
that.
away in that, and eventually just like gets to the kitchen, like grabs a butcher knife, and then goes into like the dining room and just locks the door. And is like, Fucking come and get me, Ricky.
Come at me,
yeah,
Ricky.
Fucking come at me, Ricky. am I
Let's
gonna
do this.
Am I gonna have to stab a bitch?
Yeah.
yeah, but she's
Mother
basically
Superior going to have to cut a bitch. She says, "Come and face me."
Yeah.
Like she's like,
Yeah.
1v1 me, bro.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
dance.
Come
Yeah.
get your punishment.
I'll teabag your
been
fucking
naughty.
drum set.
You better not.
But yeah, she's like, stop being a pussy like your brother and
Yeah.
come face me.
Yeah.
And he does. And
Fight me.
we don't see it,
Meet
but
me in Temecula at 20 minutes if you want an ass kicking.
we don't see it, but he murders her and chops her head off, and
Yeah.
then
places it
places her back at the table with her head reattached,
Yeah.
so that Mother Mary comes to her.
Speaking words of wisdom.
Not really. She just kind of went, "Ah, fuck!"
Right.
But she's brought cops,
Sure.
and they bust in, and she's just like, "Hey, Mother Superior, did you jump the gun?" And shakes her, and her head falls off, and then that's when she's just like, "Ah, fuck!" It just falls over, and
And Ricky's like, "Ha, I'm here." And the cop's like, "I have bullets." Blam, blam, blam.
yeah, pretty much.
And he
yeah, Ricky-
dies out the door, but when he hears Mary scream, it's because she's like,
Well, the cop wakes up like, "Hey, it's all over," and she's like, she's passed out like eye level
she's
with
still
the
face to
decapitated
face
head.
with Mother Superior's head, and so she starts screaming again, and this wakes Ricky up. He's like, "Ha, yeah,
Yep.
your screams fuel me."
Yep. And the movie's over.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yes. What a thing.
Yep.
What a weird ass thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is unlike any other movie.
I will go ahead and go with a rating.
All right, sir.
All right. Hear me out on this.
I'm listening.
I don't remember what I rated the first one. Probably not great because I seem to remember just being very annoyed by it in general.
Okay.
Are
get
you
there.
looking?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get there.
I have a guess.
I went too far. Stand by.
Okay.
You gave it Ajox.
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 Okay. I think there was enough dumb that maybe I enjoyed some of it, but I'm going to give this 3 jocks.
Shit.
Oh, I thought you were going to give it 4.
And hear me out on this.
I'm listening.
Don't watch the first one. Just watch this. This is all the things you want from the first one, except for like hanging out for an extended period of time in the toy store.
It does cut
with-
all the good toy
with
store.
the all the 1984 toys that
Yeah.
for us were just like, oh, that was awesome. Oh, there's those shit trash bag. I feel like we talked about the shit trash bag Halloween costumes for a really long time last time we did this.
I feel like we
Yeah.
Because we all had shitty trash bag
Yeah.
costumes.
But I'm
That
saying
one
like,
atom thick rubber band that always broke.
this is exactly my kind of bad dumb. It's baffling. It is baffling that there's like 40 minutes of footage from the first movie.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you want to be judicious with your time, just watch this one.
Sure.
There's more good to be had in the first one, obviously, because I liked it a little bit. But you're going to get basically what you need just by watching this one, and you get Ricky bad acting and all of that. And I don't know. I was on board with this.
Okay. I was not
Okay.
on board with it. I don't think it's as good as the first one, even though I really kind of don't like the first one. I gave the first one 2 jocks because it was a real dumb time plus all the toy store stuff. I can give this 1 jocks, but with a caveat. You cannot watch the 2 movies back to back. You will lose your goddamn mind.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I believe that's what I did originally when I watched these way back in high school, was that I was just marathoning them and was like, okay, time for the second one. Wait, what the shit? You can't do that. You got to do like what we did and wait a year. Because it actually gave us time to throw some new jokes into the 45 minutes of footage from the first film.
I don't remember a single good one that I made now.
There were a couple where I was like, you should have said that last year. But yeah, I recommend it, but you simply cannot watch it back to back with the first one. And really, the only reason I recommend it is because the lead actor is so bad.
Oh,
That's
I remember the one. I remember the one I liked the most.
yeah.
Is
The
because the one dude decides to fight him with the fireplace poker.
yeah.
And then gets it turned around on him and murdered with it, I believe.
Yep.
And I was just going fa la 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 because it's this poker face.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes. Good job. I mean, it's not a good movie. It's a bad movie, but
A good bad movie, an enjoyable bad movie. It's in 1 to 5 jocks after robot jocks.
here, after the first 45 minutes is over, it's an enjoyable short film about whatever the fuck. It's just a guy growing up, and then he has one real bad day on the street, and then he has to go kill a nun. And to make that the climax of your movie, to just kill this evil fuck, that's, who gives a shit? Like, no slasher movie is about that. No slasher movie is about, hey, go kill the person who made you evil. You know, unless we're talking Frankenstein or something like that.
That's Frankenstein's monster.
No, it's Frankenstein.
Yo, Frankenstein.
Right, yes,
Yeah.
Yo Frankenstein. So, anyway, yes, watch it, but take a year between the first and the second one, because the first 45 minutes of this is the first film over again.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. I am confused as to where to put this, because the abysmal choice to replay the first movie in 5-minute vignettes for 45 fucking minutes is incredibly annoying. You guys had some fun with it, but I was just sitting there like, fuck it. I know I forget movies pretty easily, but I've seen all of this before.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to see it again. I especially didn't need to see exactly this. Like,
I don't know, the sledding stuff was still pretty good.
yeah,
30-year-old sledders be like, hey, sledder punks.
yeah, but I mean, seen it already.
I know.
So I almost want to rate this in two chunks. Like, I would like to give the first half of this movie. We watch a film and we talk about it. No, wait. The first half of this movie, like, I'd like to give it like 2 bags, because it annoys the shit out of me to go through this again. And the overacting shtick doesn't really catch on, at least for me, until after we get past that. After the second reel. Like,
Yes, literally.
Yeah.
I think it took him getting his teleportation powers before you enjoyed his bad acting
Yeah.
as well.
Because he popped up and went, what? Or whatever.
Hey, Doc.
Hey, Doc. Yeah. So, like, after the second reel, you don't have to be interrupted. Like, you get this bad acting back to back to back to back to back to back to back. And it's a really strange, wacky, serial killer-y slasher movie from there. It's not real good, but it's funny. So the second half, I would give, like, probably 2 jocks, maybe 3. So I guess that means I land at 1 jocks overall, because the ending, they don't set it up to be satisfying in any way, because there's no hero of this movie.
No.
Like, the doctor you think might be the hero at first, but he gets murdered, shortly after, not too long after the second reel. Anybody else who's good in this movie just gets murdered off, and they don't even really bother trying to actually set somebody up as, like, the hero after the doctor goes away.
Yeah.
And the nun was fucking evil. She was a mean old bitch in the first movie, and then she's still a mean old bitch in this movie. And yeah, it's great that the mean old bitch that created the murderer gets murdered. Getting murdered is getting murdered by is when you get murdered by the person who made you a murderer.
Oh, okay.
Right.
It's very specific use.
Yeah.
Making,
That's not a flub.
murderer.
Yes.
I get it.
A murderer. Yeah.
Murderer.
A murderer is a person who murders the person that made them a murderer. It's complicated, but if you follow along, if you just listen and relax, you'll understand.
Yeah, just
So
listen.
listen. So yeah, the old cranky bitch Mother Superior nun gets murdered, but I don't know, who gives a shit. Kind of at the end.
I feel like that's one thing that's kind of fascinating about both these movies is, like you said, they're like, hey, structure of a story, forget all that. We're not going to do any of that. Both of these movies, and that's really strange. Like,
I mean, there's almost a little merit for a story not ending in a typical manner, but everything else is kind of tropey slashery. Might as well just make a hero and have them, find a hero and have them kill this dude. It's just, yeah, kind of falls apart there at the end. But that, like, from second reel all the way up until just after Mother Superior basically calls him a bitch. Sends him a message over Xbox One that says, or Xbox Live that says, haha, you pussy, 1v1 me.
Get good.
Get good, scrub. That part is probably 3 jocks. So it feels like the longest I've ever debated a movie recommendation, but I think I'm going to settle on 1 jocks, which means it is a recommendation. It might be a 2 jocks movie if I hadn't already had to sit through Silent Night, Deadly Night the first.
Okay.
Word.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, let's not stick to this half anymore. Let's go take a break. and get to
Yeah.
the second half.
Yeah.
A
Take the
filled
break,
second
take
half.
motherfucking
Yeah.
We have so many movies to talk about.
Oh my God.
100 movies.
Go see you before you die.
It'll make you watch movies like Kenyans.
I went back to that recently. Like,
Oh, me too,
Out
yeah.
of fucking nowhere, it was just like it's. I said something. Oh, someone was drinking something strawberry. I was like, "You've tried strawberry? How about raw berry?" And they're like, "The fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't know about Power Thirst?"
Yeah.
Something made me think of It's What Plants Crave, and I was like, oh, man, I wonder... And I couldn't remember that it was called Power Thirst for a minute, so I watched the Brondo, the official Brondo commercials. I was like, what was the thing that preceded this? And I spent 10 minutes frolicking in the earlier days of the internet.
Mother Nature will be like, slow
down.
When God gives you lemons, get a new God.
It's just fucking one-liner after one-liner. Every single line is funny.
Timing is so good on it.
Get a new God.
Yeah, I think it's even better because he goes like, "Can Mother Nature be like, slow down?" And then you're like, "Fuck you!" Kick her in the face with his power legs.
Yep.
All right. Time to lose El Jackito.
Yeah, it is a bit...
El Jackito.
it's a bit
El
warm here.
Jackito.
I am Cornholio. People making fun of my murderer.
Yep. So,
9,
are you counting your movies?
10.
That's too many movies. I do that.
Okay, kind of 10.
Kind of 10.
What do I have?
Yes,
Okay, I thought I did. 'Cause I feel like I watched that a while back.
you did. And you talked about it.
I wasn't sure.
I wasn't sure.
Sure you are not.
How you get so big? Watching movies of this kind.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we need to hurry the fuck up. I want to watch Mandalorian tonight.
Oh, is that tonight?
Well, it's already out. I'm just saying. They released it early this week because there's a Rise of Skywalker thing at the end. They wanted to get it out during buzz. They dropped it today. They dropped this week's episode today.
Right, but there's a Rise of Skywalker thing.
Some sort of like teaser. It's not, I don't
It's
think
not
it's
tied into
It's
the
not tied
story.
into the episode. It's
Okay.
just like, hey, here's a first look, whatever thingy. I don't know.
I don't want to. I
Well,
don't
then
want to see
just
that.
click, stop, play it.
That's just why they.
Yeah, that's why it's released early.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Boomer.
Okay.
Fucking Bob Iger.
On that, real quick.
All right.
Since we're in a break, let me just say one thing real quick about TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
TV shows need to not have post-credit scenes. That's garbage. Don't.
Wait, what TV show has post credits?
Yeah, was it Watchmen like one of the last?
Yes.
Yeah.
The penultimate episode of The Watchmen had a post-credit
yeah,
scene.
and it was important.
Yeah. I didn't. I always stop like midway through the credits because I don't want to see the coming soon shit.
I think I did the same thing, and I was like, I don't know why I let it play.
Okay, well, during the finale, when they were previously on Watchmen, there was a scene. I was like, we never saw that.
Oh, you actually saw it. Okay.
Yeah.
Somehow I let that episode play.
Oh,
I saw it.
okay.
I was like, wait, were there fucking post-credit things throughout the whole season? Have I been missing shit?
I know. It was just that one.
Yeah.
But
somehow I let it play, and I was like, wait, what the fuck?
Either do it for every episode so that we know, or give us some sort of tip or something. But there's no reason to have a post-credit scene on a television show. That's stupid.
Yeah. I mean, if they can put a thing about there being flashing lights.
Yeah.
Didn't Watchmen do that?
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
There was a strobe thing.
Yeah. I feel like they had to do that for one
So
episode.
anyway, yeah. Watchmen's fucking amazing, you guys.
It's pretty good.
It was a great season of television.
What service is that on?
HBO.
Hubo. Okay, I can watch a Hubo. Maybe I'll binge it this weekend.
Oof. That'll be a thing in one sitting.
Yeah.
I will not. I will absolutely
No,
not.
you should
do
break
that.
that up.
Also, I mean, I don't know, because you could probably answer this better, because I mean, I've read Watchmen the comics several times, and I've seen the movie a few times. How recently had you seen the movie? Or
Not since it came out.
oh, okay, and you were still fine.
I was just kind of I was like, oh, is that okay? She's that all right.
I'm just curious if I would recommend rewatching the movie if it's been a while.
I will be watching.
Well, because it diverges a little bit too. At the same
it
time.
does.
It's like it lives in the movie universe with more comic accurate events.
Yeah. I think it's totally watchable without having that knowledge.
Okay.
To me, it was just like, I vaguely remember this, but I'm probably remembering it wrong.
Yeah.
So
It's like strangely retconned slightly, where it's like, okay, here's like the exact props from the movie universe, but also things happen slightly differently that are more like the comic.
Yes. Anyway, it's a great TV show.
All right, let's do this. All right, and welcome back.
Hey, BMFcast.
Yeah.
Second half,
Second half
number
time.
2.
BMFcast.
All right. Who has watched a recent movie?
All of us.
I have.
Yeah.
You went to the theater.
If you're listening to this on Friday, none of us have seen Rise of Skywalker as of this recording.
Right.
Correct.
So
Shut up.
we'll let you know. You will hear from us one day.
Soon.
One day.
So I guess I've actually seen the most recent movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think so. Yeah.
all right. I was not prepared for this. I never am when this happens. I saw Knives Out in the theater.
Speaking of Star Wars, director of The Last Jedi.
Oh, right, yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Ryan, is it Ryan Johnson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reen.
What is that?
No, it's Ryan.
Okay.
It's just spelled.
I
dumb.
don't know.
It's
I thought I was pronouncing it right.
It's
Anyway.
actually Yaunsi.
Yeah, it's Ryan
It's a silent J.
Johansson. Knives Out, starring James Bond and some other people that you will recognize.
James Bond, Captain America. I don't remember who else is in
Don
it.
Johnson.
Don Johnson.
Yeah.
So, Crockett.
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 Davy Crockett. I think that was his name on the show.
Yes, Davy.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
His name was Crockett Tubbs, actually.
Yes.
Okay.
Detective Crockett Tubbs.
Yeah,
Detective Crockett
it's like
Tubbs.
that guy, Holland Oates.
Yeah.
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 I've heard the movie described as a 21st century Clue.
You could. Sorry for the pregnant pause. You could. I was thinking about that earlier today, which is why your comment kind of took me aback. I didn't hear anybody else saying that.
Okay.
It is more Sherlock Holmes, the books, not the RDJ movies, because those are like action movies with
Oh, RDJ. I thought you were talking about, I'm RDJ. I'm an arty guy, and my name's Jimmy.
RTJ. No, it's more like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle Sherlock Holmes than Robert Downey Jr.
So he's
Sherlock
punching
Holmes.
robots and shit.
Right.
Okay.
So I feel like it's more of a Sherlock Holmes story than Clue, but I can see where the comparison would make, because there's some sort of over the topness, and it's a bunch of people trying to figure out this mystery. But I really enjoyed it. Like, as ridiculous as Daniel Craig's accent is, and it is ridiculous. It is absurd. He sticks with it, and it is kind of charming and funny. Like, it's over the top. It's too much, but it fits right in. It just, after the initial shock of hearing him speak the first time, it's just amusing. And was it Ana de Armas? Is that who plays the? No, it's not.
She's in the movie.
Is that? Yeah, that's. Dude, I can never tell who. If you put 1,000. Well, it doesn't matter how many people you put in a picture. More than one. I would never be able to pick out Ana de Armas. I don't know what it is about her. She just blends into me. Yeah. She's the other kind of like main character. Her performance is really good. I just am face blind
with her.
Yeah, face blind when it comes to her. But
That's not what a Paul Rudd looks like.
who knows what Paul Rudd looks like?
I don't anymore.
I've never seen the guy. But yeah, it's really enjoyable. There's a lot of good character work in there. Jamie Lee Curtis is amusing as shit.
Yeah, I did not know the depth that the cast went. It's
Yeah, I didn't.
kind of crazy.
I didn't either. I just knew. All I really knew going in was to expect a weird accent out of Daniel Craig, and boy, you get that in spades. Honestly, I want more. They set him up as kind of like a known person in this world. I'm trying not to give too much away. So they set him up as a known person in this world, and like mildly famous. I want more movies about this guy.
Okay.
Like, I want to see Daniel. Like, I don't want Daniel Craig to have to be like pigeonholed into another several series role, or several movie role. But I want to see like I'd even take an hour HBO show that was The Adventures of Benoit Blanc.
Okay.
Or Benoit, I don't remember how they pronounce it. Benoit. Yeah, Benoit Blanc.
Uh-huh.
I'd watch 10 episodes of this easily. Like, if it was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's Adventures of Benoit Blanc or something like that, I would watch that.
Okay.
100%. Chris Evans, Michael Shannon, Lakeith Stanfield is excellent. Christopher Plummer is very good.
Damn.
Yeah, it just goes.
Toni Collette.
Toni Collette.
She's talented.
She is.
Frank Oz is in this movie.
Hell yeah.
So keep a lookout for Frank Oz in this movie.
Okay.
But yeah, it's surprisingly good. I had no idea what to expect when I went in, and I loved it. You don't need to see it in theaters, although I would, because I like it so much, I would like you to see it in theaters if it's still there, so that it gets, the support and or recognition that it deserves. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I've talked too much already. Thank you for your time.
No problem.
Yep, you're welcome.
This concludes my part of the second half.
Oh, there'll be parts you can jump in here. I'm pretty sure.
I watched like 18 Disney movies also. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you watch Gus again?
No, I did not watch Gus again.
That's
Oh, wait, there's a sequel?
yeah.
Gus again.
Gus again.
Gus is back.
Yeah.
You
Gus
wrong.
who?
Yeah, Gus who. Gus who's coming to dinner.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Harlow, what you got?
I've seen several movies. I think I'll start with a Brad Pitt double feature.
Okay.
Because he's been in 2 fairly big movies of the year.
Who?
One of them I'll go ahead and start. I finally saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Okay.
It was discussed on here some time back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I like Tarantino movies anymore.
Any of them, or you don't like what he's been producing lately?
Well, I mean, like the yes, and
Like they fell off a cliff?
Yes, like I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
I feel like we've been leading to this, and I'm just like I'm finally like not on board. I mean, granted, it's really only 2 movies in a row now. I just have not cared for like really at all.
Okay.
What was the
And,
last one?
Hateful Eight.
Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't see that.
I mean, before that, I think Django was before that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I like Django a lot. So I'm still okay with it up to that point. There are parts in Django that are not great, like his cameo and stuff. But like by and large, I still like the movie. This is just. It's a strange thing to say because I mean, if you think about it, no movie needs to exist. But I feel like his last 2 movies have not had a reason to exist, like even in the slightest. Hateful Eight just felt like one of those movies where let's get a bunch of famous people together, they'll say some dialogue, and then it's over. It's like nothing's particularly memorable to me. It's just it's circumstantial, and then it's over. I mean,
Well, I think that Hateful Eight had that kind of who are these people quality to it. Like, how do
Yeah.
they fit into this story? What's the deal?
yeah, I just something about it just isn't that even on that level isn't that compelling to me. I don't get it. I don't know why it doesn't click with me. And this one, if this one didn't have the period piece thing going on for it, which obviously Hateful Eight does too, but this has the grand period piece that like we're going to go to outside locations, not just a cabin in the snow.
Right.
Like I mean, it's not just like a cowboy movie in the snow. This is like. We are recreating, what is it? I guess that'd be the 70s, early
Late
70s?
60s.
Late 60s, yeah, 60, yeah. I was trying to think when the Manson family shit happened. But yeah, it's just like if it didn't have that going for it, I feel like this movie would have almost nothing. There's like some small elements I enjoy in the first half, and then by the end, it's like even the main plot was wearing thin on me, and then the last
What
plot.
main plot, may I ask? I'm sorry.
I mean the just the interaction between the main characters. I mean the thing we've been following, if you want to call it a main plot. I'm just like the interaction and what's going on with them, and then it's just like it's suddenly like, hey, I know I was making a movie about this, but I secretly wanted to make a movie about the Manson family, and it just takes a hard left and it becomes that movie, and it just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, me either.
I mean. It's not even. The only thing I can parallel to it is Inglourious Basterds, sort of, because that's some pseudo alternate history things going on in that, and I'm perfectly okay with it. And I'm in theory I'm okay with what they're I'm not tied to the Manson family like murders as a thing,
Yeah.
Like I mean it's like it's
Man, I wish they hadn't retconned the
right,
Manson family.
yeah, that's what I
murder.
mean. It's like I have like no like particular like I've really studied this and read Helter Skelter 14 times. It's like I don't care. It's like I know it's a thing that happened, and I'm not trying to be insensitive. It's just like it's not a thing that I care that much about. But the retcon in this just feels sloppy and like he's going for the same shock value that Inglourious Basterds had, but that is great and justified and feels earned. This is just like, yeah, I changed some shit and
Well, until you. Okay, if you. This is a tough one. I'm gonna try to dance through this the best I can. Like, we all know, like, Hitler was a giant fuckhead. Nazis suck, right? That's pretty universal.
it's supposed to
It has been for a while.
This is known, but
Under-
this is not by everybody.
Yes,
apparently.
Fact,
for
yes.
reasonable people.
Accepted.
Right. For reasonable people, we all know like Nazis are bad, fucked up. And also like, yeah, the fact the Manson family murdered some people, that's pretty bad too. But as far as what we're shown in the movie, if you didn't know, like, and the movie doesn't show it. Like the movie, if you don't know anything about the Manson family murders, which a lot of people don't, I don't know much about it either.
Right.
I know that Sharon Tate got murdered, but that's about all I know.
Yeah.
And you don't really know.
Like it all happened in the Roman Polanski house. He just wasn't home.
Right. And like, this movie doesn't really do a great job of like telling you like, hey, this is Sharon Tate, the one who gets murdered. Like, we don't have any context for not really liking these people, except for the fact like they showed up to murder people, but the hate boner that Tarantino apparently has for these people that murdered, Sharon Tate and a couple other people, I guess. Again, I don't know a lot about it, but it's so. Sorry, I forgot the word that I wanted to use. Like it's just not a like. Fuck!
It's well, you get an automatic justification with Nazis. I mean,
Right,
you're supposed to.
right.
You're just like, oh, Nazis, yeah, sure, let's watch them die.
This is like it's like asymmetrical. Like you don't get why. Like yes, I think I honestly like the ultra violence of the end of that.
Sure.
Because it's well shot and it's amusing, like how things go down.
Yes.
But
I will say
it just seems unreasonable.
I'm picking up what you're saying, and I've seen this reaction from a lot of people. It's if you know, and there's nothing wrong with not knowing, because it was a long time ago and pop culture moves on, and you don't have enough time to learn certain things. School's not going to teach you this stuff.
Right.
It's up to you to know this. Some people, like myself, went into it knowing full well what that was about, and it was cathartic in a way. It was because you're prepared for the worst, and you don't get it, and you're like, oh, huh. But other people who don't have the knowledge of that situation and are just there for the movie and are following the story look at it, and I've seen this reaction a lot, and people will go, wow, that's overkill. That's off-putting. I don't understand why you're so angry at these people. And they come away from the movie with a different opinion. I'm not saying either one's wrong.
Right.
The movie, like you said, does not tell you shit. It's up to you to bring knowledge to the film, and that's not your responsibility when you go see a movie.
Right.
Well, this
It's not contextualized at all.
Right.
Yeah, this feels more like, I mean, I was gonna say, like, if you were to make a movie, like, if I were to make a period piece movie like in the 80s and the 90s, and like suddenly like I had horrible things befall people that introduced pan and scan and non-widescreen video
Right.
movies, and I just suddenly had them violently murdered, it'd be cathartic for me. It doesn't mean much to most people. They'd just be like, what the fuck? But I think more akin to like, okay, I'm gonna spoil another movie I'm gonna talk about, but it seems kind of semi-relevant. Martin Scorsese, and I'm going to be talking about The Irishman.
Who?
Martin Scorsese.
That's a joke, sorry.
He obviously studies certain things very, very heavily, and becomes very invested in their. It's like his hobby became his film. Like I'm going to study gangsters and crime, and all these things that become super important to me, but to the average person who's like. I've heard of Jimmy Hoffa. I don't know much beyond that. It's sort of like I have done in-depth research in this, and this is going to be cathartic for me and like 5 other people that have vastly explored this subject.
Right.
This is more like if James Cameron had been like, you know what, that motherfucking captain of the goddamn Titanic, that son of a bitch is who killed all those people. Like I'm gonna have the worst fucking death happen to him, or the architect, or whatever fucking person is involved in that. It'd be like. I've done extensive research on this, and it is super personal to me. And fuck that, I'm going to show like this guy was the guy who fucked everything up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have that feels more akin to that of like I've studied this like ancient history thing. Right. And I know the 60s is not ancient history, but I've studied this thing that like most people have moved on or forgotten about, and I'm going to make it super detailed about this.
Yeah.
And it's a weird thing. Plus, there are elements of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that I could not make myself not think of Kevin Smith. They are both directors that came from the same time period, and they both feel like over time they're just like turning this bigger and bigger fuck you to their own audience. Because I mean I've been on board with Quentin Tarantino from the beginning.
Sure.
Like I've taken him down things where other people are like I like his stuff, but fuck that, fuck this. Up until Hateful Eight, I was, and I don't like. Hateful Eight doesn't make me angry, and even this one doesn't make me angry, but it feels like they're betraying their core audience in a way. Like, like people that were on board with what they were doing and the jokes they were telling, like Kevin Smith, especially to what nth degree more than Quentin Tarantino. It just feels like I'm basically going to troll my own audience at this point. Like, I'm just going to make utter and complete utter bullshit and put it on screen and just like dare people to like it. And I feel like Quentin Tarantino's like got this, like they've got some kind of secret fucking cabal where it's just like these 90s directors are like, let's just see how fucking far our major fans are willing to go with us while we just make weirder and weirder shit. Like, I mean, this doesn't go to the trolling fucking level of like Tusk, where like literally like a year before Tusk happened, they were on their fucking podcast like, oh my god, this is the worst fucking idea. What if I actually make it? And then he fucking makes it. It's like, eat a dick. Like, this doesn't feel that bad. This just feels like, I mean, the fact that he fucking threw Kevin Smith's daughter in there is in the fucking Manson family is just like, all right, are you tipping your fucking hand? Like, I mean, is this like, hey, if you didn't catch it before, we're just fucking trolling you at this point. I don't know. It was off-putting in a lot of ways, and even other stuff like, I'm not usually one to get angry at things like this, but I've got to admit they have a fucking point. Like, Bruce Lee's family saying like fuck this movie is spot on, because the way they fucking portray him in this movie is a real dick thing to do, especially for a guy who's been dead for a long period of time, can't defend himself, can't like say like that's not what the fuck I was doing. I just don't like it when someone like tears down a fucking pop icon just because.
There's a lot of dead people in this movie.
I know, but like that one's just, there's a lot of dead people in this movie, but like he died very young and mysterious, whatever, like lots of things. It's like, all right, maybe just like,
I get it. I get the backlash against the Bruce Lee scene.
When I was watching that, I thought that was a fantasy sequence. Like, I
had someone at work ask me that the other day. I was like, did that happen? I was like,
to be honest, I don't know. Yeah.
And that's why, like, when I was watching it and for a while afterwards, I was like, who gives a shit? Like, it was just a fantasy sequence. He was like, he was just imagining himself being called back to set, and this is what he,
This is the story of when I kicked Bruce Lee's ass. Okay.
I just thought it was like him, like, this is what's going to happen when I go back to set. That fucking Bruce Lee guy that thinks he's better than everybody, so he thinks,
Also, I feel like going back again to like the primary core story, if you will, the Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt journey that they were on through this movie. I kept waiting for a fucking shoe to drop, and it never fucking drops. Like, I was just like, all right, they're gay, right? I mean, because like it's the '60s, and obviously, you're going to make some sort of parallel of like, secret Hollywood closeted thing, megastar or now B star and his stuntman have this secret relationship, and I thought at least there'd be something interesting there, but it's just no. It's just like they've got this weird bromance, like, I don't know. It's weird. It's just like I kept waiting for like there to be something more about this movie, and
maybe they'd murder Roman Polanski.
It just like it swerves all over the place so much that I'm just like, what was the point of that when it was over? Anyway.
So, as far as weird treatments of, well, Roman Polanski's still alive, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is odd to me that, like, you would give Bruce Lee, like, make Bruce Lee a shitty person, but then make Roman Polanski out like, hey, look, there's a normal guy who's just normal, doing normal, being a person things.
They kind of weave in some. I believe Steve McQueen says, "Yeah, boy, that he has a type, 12-year-old boys."
I mean, you can't talk about Polanski or talk about the Manson family murders without Polanski sort of being involved.
Sure.
But
I will say that was spot on casting for Steve McQueen, though.
It was really good.
Like, I'm just saying, like when that happened, I was like, "How the fuck did I never see that before?"
Yeah,
like it was one of those like moments where I was just like, "What the hell?"
Who was that played him?
It's
Damian Lewis.
Yeah, Damian Lewis. I was like that guy from Homeland.
Mm-hmm.
Not a name I.
And he used him for 6 minutes, if that.
Yeah. Anyway,
also he was like fifth build or something like that. It's like there are people who are very highly billed in that movie, and it's like they don't have shit to do with anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not bad. It's just It's one I will probably like never ever watch again.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's going to be my death proof. Where it's just like I don't even want to give that another try. Like like
There's
other,
some stuff I really like.
Yeah.
Like there's that like slice of life. If the movie had been just those two, just
going on adventures.
being bros, going on adventures for 3
Doing
hours,
stuff, yeah.
that would have been fine. But it's
it keeps seeming like it's going to be something more, and it's not.
it seems like it's going to be something,
Like,
and it's not.
Like at least with Hateful Eight, I'm still willing. I'm still thinking about trying that super long version on Netflix. Like I'm just like, no, I think I've got everything I ever need to get from that movie in one viewing ever. But anyway, I've talked way more about this than I wanted to. Moving on to Ad Astra, because I said I've talked about 2 Brad Pitt movies.
Right.
Brad Astra.
Yep.
Astra.
For whatever bit I didn't like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I liked Ad Astra even less. Ad Astra is a bad movie.
That seems to be the opinion.
It's an actual bad movie.
Okay.
More like Bad Astra.
And what's worse is it's a bad movie masquerading as a good movie.
Yeah.
Like it's got those like slow silent pauses and space shit, and then I'm just saying like it's like
slow silent pauses and space shit.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to ticket you for describing that movie in the way that I would describe that movie.
Okay.
That is like a straight out cop of my style of describing things.
Well, it's basically Tree of Life in space, where it's
okay.
supposed to be this like, we're having long silent pauses between the way we're talking, so because it's important. And then I'm sorry if this is mildly spoilery, but it's so fucking stupid I cannot not talk about it. There is literally a point in time in that movie where they're on their way to do space shit, and they stop because there's a distress call. They go into the spaceship where there is a distress call, and there are fucking evil space baboons. And then it's over, and it's just like, wait, was there just fucking space baboons on that spaceship? And then you're just like, oh well, moving on with life.
Cool.
It's so fucking stupid.
All right.
And also, please call them baboons.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry if someone enjoyed this movie. I do not know how you could. It's boring as fuck. It's one of those things. God, I think I just have it. I think I have a problem with pretty much every movie that is about daddy issues that has no resolution to it.
No.
Because I saw the movie and I realized there's kind of a resolution to it, but like Big Fish always comes up in my head. People are like, that movie changed my fucking life. I'm like, I'm really sorry you have daddy issues. like I'm terribly sorry, I do too, but that movie's not great, Bob. It's just like I'm happy that like it can fill a niche or something about your absentee dad, but like it's not that great. Like, I mean, your movie can't hinge on just that. It's like, deal with daddy issues and also have a plot. There's other ones I could name that I might. Boyhood. Okay, Boyhood's about daddy issues, but that's a great fucking movie. That's about your relationship with your dad. Tree of Life is about your relationship with your dad. But these are like, again, you either like Terrence Malick or you don't, so I'm not going to talk about Tree of Life, but like, this feels like it
Mackey's not here. Say whatever you want.
This feels like it wants to be Tree of Life, but it's made by someone like Paul W.S. Anderson. Like, and that's what it was like if Paul W.S. Anderson presents Tree of Life and all of the quality that would entail.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Also, it's just weird because I don't know. It's like a more boring Interstellar, and I love Christopher Nolan, but I do not like Interstellar. Interstellar is a bunch of boring ass shit. And it's like it's high concept quantum physics for dummies is what Interstellar is. Like, because it's like
you got to slow down with all these box quotes that you're.
I mean, Interstellar is basically like please explain the theory of relativity like I'm 5. That's what Interstellar is.
ELI 5.
Yeah. Now like I'm 3.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is just like a worse version of that. It's all. Now I'm done talking about Astra. Sad Astra.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I am going to talk about movies where I'm positive eventually,
Okay, good.
so we'll get there.
Okay.
I'm positive you're going to talk about movies too.
I got some rapid fire movies.
Okay.
Movies,
Chuck, talk
movies
about
that
movies.
we've talked about on the podcast before. I just want to throw in my 2 cents.
Okay.
So I watched X-Men Dark Phoenix,
Okay.
which I was expecting a Fantastic Four level bullshit thing.
Which Fantastic Four?
The most recent one, the one they
Okay.
made to keep the rights to the
Fan
Fantastic
Four
Four. Because there was so much production trouble with this movie. I was just like, oh god, this is going to be a train wreck. even though it ends with a train wreck. The Dark Phoenix is totally fine. I don't have the level of attachment to that comic story that everyone does. I realize it doesn't do that story justice at all. I realize they tried it in the first trilogy and they didn't do it right either. But I think at the very least the first half of this movie is pretty good. I really like
because it's got Dazzler in it.
It did have Dazzler in it, and that was a lot of fun. I think there's a good push through the first half of this movie that is intriguing, and then it kind of falls apart because most of the X-Men movies fall apart at the end for some weird reason. But as far as it being god-awful, like most people seem to make it out to be, it's not.
Yeah, I feel like that one's got a stack of cards against it,
Sure.
a whole deck, because
Yeah.
it's like it's a comic book movie that may not be the comic book movie you want. It had production problems. It was previously being directed by a terrible person,
Right.
and they had to pull him.
Yep.
So like there's all that, and then there's just people that fucking hate Sophie Turner.
Yeah.
Hate her.
I don't know why.
Why
Yeah.
do people hate?
I don't know.
Are they mad because of the
People
because
just
of the ending of Game of Thrones?
I don't know.
I
She's
don't know.
fine.
I'm just
She's
saying,
totally
like,
fine.
I mean, like, there are people that just fucking hate her for some reason. I don't know.
People are weird.
Yeah. But anyway, that movie's totally entertaining, totally fine. Not great. I mean, like nothing is going to top First Class. That movie is amazing. But
Yeah.
it's pretty good. It is better than I thought it was going to be, and is better than it has any right to be. So I also watched Hobbs and Shaw finally. I came away from that movie liking it, being like, yeah, this is the shit I like. Big, dumb bullshit. But also, there's just this layer of... The best way I can describe it is that they already made fun of this movie in The Other Guys when Samuel L. Jackson and The Rock just jump off the roof because they think they can live. And at least that movie had the reality to go, no, they fucking died. Whereas in this movie, the Rock just jumps off a roof and is just like, yeah, totally cool. Got this, brah. And it's... I realize that they're all superheroes at this point, but no one's taking anything seriously in this movie. Like, there is a global threat in this, and it is just nonstop jokes about each other's dicks. That's strange to me. It's just this movie is distracted from its own reality in a way that's a bit distressing. I liked a lot of dumb shit in this movie. Like, there are things that have The Rock holding a chain to keep a helicopter from pulling a tow truck apart or whatever towards the... I'm like, yeah, whatever. This is the stupidest shit. I'm here for this dumb bullshit. Him and Roman Reigns are doing all their dumb wrestling moves and, murdering everything. Fine. Totally fine. It's all totally fine. I just wish it had a level of gravitas to it of there's some world-ending shit going on, and y'all are just having a fun time, like, just ribbing at each other and, haha, you got a small dick, and fucking pay attention. There's shit going on. Idris Elba means business. But anyway, I enjoyed it. I also enjoyed Angel Has Fallen, like you were talking about. I kind of like how it's absurd, don't get me wrong, but I kind of appreciate the kind of regrounding they do with that and make it not a more personal story, but a more like relevant to Gerard Butler kind of being almost too old to be doing this.
Right.
And just turning it into this like betrayal kind of thing and not this world, this global thing. Although the main guy's motivation is just real dumb. Just real dumb. So there's that. Detective Pikachu. I watched Detective Pikachu.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about Pokemon.
Okay.
I don't know fucking shit about Pokemon, and that movie was still delightful.
Yeah.
Because that movie, like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Detective Pikachu doesn't explain shit about Pokemon. It just assumes like when you see a Pokemon on screen, you're like, oh, that's Snorlax or whatever. I know that one.
You got a Nokemon.
I don't.
Oh.
But
Well, a Snorlax. You got a name there. So
I did.
good job, Chuck.
Yeah, I paid attention during this movie.
Good job.
There's one thing at the end of this movie that fucking breaks it. Like, there's just a reveal where it's like, what? How did you not put that together? But other than that, that movie's totally fine.
Yeah.
Like, that movie just has a real stupid plot. And you're just like, yeah, it's a Pokemon movie, whatever. But it's cute, it's cute and entertaining. Let's see. I had The Kid Who Would Be King.
Ah, yes. I've been meaning to watch that.
Okay.
Please tell me if I should.
Well, okay. So I remember when that trailer played before something, we went to see probably Bumblebee or something like that, and we were like, I bet that movie's totally fine, and it's going to make $7. It made $7. Totally fine.
Okay.
It's not terrific. It kind of sticks real hard to the King Arthur stuff and doesn't put its own spin on it, but it is an enjoyable one of those things. It is a monster trucks-esque kind of live-action family thing that is totally innocent and, well, not really innocent. The kids have swords and are murdering demons and shit, but it's a nice family film that is not, kids falling in mud and getting kicked in the butt. It's not dumb kid stuff. It's actually kind of good. I would recommend watching it, although you kind of don't have to continue to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, once you realize where it's going, you're like, oh, okay, I got this.
Yeah, what a weird career trajectory. Like, I mean, that's the guy that directed Attack the Block.
I know.
And it's the next thing he directed.
Yeah.
Like, think about how long ago Attack the Block was.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't remember, 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw his name pop up, I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, Attack the Block was one of those kind of things. It was like, all right, what's this guy doing next?
Right.
Like, this is fresh.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
like,
is-
okay,
yeah.
your next thing. Come
Yeah.
on, let's do. You're the hot shit. Let's
Yeah.
do this. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just became a writer for a while. So,
yeah.
anyway, but.
Okay, two more quick things.
Okay.
The live action remake of Dumbo.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that is
Dumb. Oh.
How Tim Burton-y is it?
super duper Tim Burton-y.
Great.
Yeah.
Never watching it.
It's
Wait, is it a Tim
Yep.
Burton?
Yeah.
Oh. I didn't even realize that.
yeah, and it's weird
Fuck.
because it's got just about every Tim Burton alum in it except Johnny Depp. Like, every person who's ever worked with Tim Burton before, like Michael Keaton, Danny DeVito, Alan Arkin.
Helena Bonham Carter.
No.
No.
Oh, so he kept off his main two people.
Yes. Colin Farrell.
What's her face? The skinny lady?
No.
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 His ex-wife. Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
his ex-wife.
she would not be in it.
Right, yes. I forgot about that part.
Yeah. Dumbo's real cute. Like, they have created a cute CG elephant, but that movie has this weird kind of plasticky sheen to it where it's just there's no humanity in it. It's weird. It's strange. I felt more in Edward Scissorhands than I do in this, and this is about animal abuse and how circuses are evil and big business, and Michael Keaton's the bad guy, and I should be.
Oh man, Michael Keaton being the bad guy and it's bad.
Yeah.
Aw.
He's almost
he good?
embarrassing. He's playing his character a little strange.
Tim Burton needs to go back to being goth.
Yeah.
Because this whole
Kids movie bullshit.
yeah, the stuff that he's done in the last 20 years
Yeah.
has not been like the Tim Burton that we all this is the reason that everybody goes, oh, Tim Burton, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I just
the
think
Batsman.
I think he
and
used up his gothiness. I think it was just like, I got
somebody
all that
needs
out
to
of
make
me.
that motherfucker sad.
I guess. But this is what
Is-
happens. You get money,
he
you
have a
get
wife?
ladies. Yeah, Helena Bonham Carter.
Oh, yeah, she needs to break up with him now. We need more. We need a good Tim Burton movie again.
Yeah.
Cheat on him with Johnny Depp.
Oh.
That's how to do it.
Wait, Tim Burton cheats on her with Johnny Depp?
No,
I bet
no.
he does.
Yeah, I mean, he probably wants to.
He goes Johnny Deep.
But no, Helena Bonham Carter needs to cheat on him
Yeah.
with Johnny Depp, and that will be like my two friends that I make movies with now, or my wife and my friend who I make movies with
Oh wait,
now.
isn't she? She's with Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah, I don't know.
What the hell am I thinking?
I don't
of?
know.
I don't know.
Whoever his
You're-
wife
we're
is.
just listening to you because sometimes you know things.
Look, you said it with authority,
Yeah.
so I
yeah, I
believe
just took
you.
it as rote.
I don't know. I'm
Hey
wrong.
Siri, who is
No. He was married to Helena Bonham Carter.
Okay, did
Now
she cheat
she's with
did she cheat on him with Kenneth Branagh?
probably.
I don't believe that. I believe Helena Bonham Carter is pure as the driven
No,
snow.
she's not with
Is
Kenneth
it?
Branagh
Who
anymore
is
either.
she?
I don't know.
I'm very confused.
Man, she's
here.
available. Let's go get Helena Bonham Carter.
She is not currently married.
Okay, I don't know.
She's partnered with somebody named Rydog.
All right. How's that spelled? RYDOGG?
RYEDAG.
Is that just BJ Novak?
YEDAG. Maybe it's not Rydog. Who is Married to.
I'm sorry, everyone who's in relationships
I'm sorry, everyone.
with Tim Burton and
Lena-
or Kenneth Branagh.
No, that's not it.
Lena Dunham is with Tim Burton? That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, that's exactly what I
It's
meant.
just vaginas all day long. Close-ups of vaginas. Okay, one last quick
okay.
one last quick thing.
All right.
Long Shot.
Uh-huh.
That movie was not advertised properly.
Nope.
Those commercials were terrible. That movie is great.
That's pretty good.
That movie is legit funny in ways
Wait,
that
what movie?
Long Shot.
That's the Seth Rogen, Charlize Theron, where she's the...
She's running for president. He's a speechwriter, but he's Seth Rogen, and she's Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It basically came and went at the theater,
Yeah.
and it was just like...
It's because it was advertised badly.
yeah.
It's it's legit funny. Like there are some lines in it that come out of nowhere that slayed me. I run hot and cold on Seth Rogen. Like sometimes I can tolerate him, and sometimes I'm just like, dude, just stop. But this was a very compelling romance comedy that worked, surprisingly.
Okay.
So I just want to say, like, if you are making 2019 lists, really consider watching Long Shot. Not that it's going to top your list or anything, but for one of those, it's really good.
Yeah, it's one of those comedies that's better than it probably should be and
Yes.
is enjoyable.
Yes. So those are my quick.
And Ice Cube Jr.'s in it.
Yes, that's right.
Or O'Shea Jackson Jr., if you prefer.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, I think we both have a movie. So we
Okay.
might as well just go ahead and get out of the way. I talked about it earlier. I said The Irishman.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think we both watched that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh.
man, I made the mistake of watching that last night when I came home from work.
Oh. So
because-
that was your evening?
Yeah, that was my evening. That was my entire evening.
That movie's 3.5 hours long.
It sure is.
And feels like it.
Yeah. It's not bad. Here, all right. Here's the thing I will say, and I know this is going to. I'm going to about to diverge from you. I know in a big way. For me, when he's not making like a strange genre movie, like Hugo is great, and I like diverging things he's done along the way. Cape Fear is even post this, but every movie for me that's gangster related or crime related that's Martin Scorsese post Goodfellas. Every single one of them, when I've watched it, when it was over, I was like, man, I should have just watched Goodfellas.
Okay.
Every single one.
All right.
Like that is the thing. Like, get away from that genre because you have done it. You have reached the peak, and everything else is just like a pale imitation of that thing. I know you like Casino.
I do. I like Casino. It is not Goodfellas good.
Casino is like okay. Casino to me would be better if it didn't feel like so many retreads of Goodfellas in places.
Yes.
And removing Sharon Stone. I don't generally always have a problem with Sharon Stone.
Right.
Like I actually like some movies that she's in, but she feels wildly out of place in that movie. And also it was that era it was that era where people become too big for themselves. Like their heads become bigger than their station in Hollywood. Like Bruce Willis, Sharon Stone, all these people have had this, and so, some never recover. But Sharon Stone was like at the height of her like I'm hot shit. And it's like, no, really, you're a B-level actress who happens to be have been in a couple like giant big AAA movies. You know,
Right.
like it's just like you don't have the acting chops to act like you're acting. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, I mean, Bruce Willis is included in that too. It's just like,
he's just a dick.
Yeah. So I mean, to me, Casino just has those things going against it.
Okay.
I don't dislike it. It's just like, again, it's one of those things like I've seen Casino. I'd rather watch Goodfellas again. But yeah, I think the only other thing I have to say about Irishman, besides being extremely long, is time-wise, that's a very confusing movie because their digital
It's 3 hours long, and you don't know where you are anymore after you finish it.
Their digital de-aging things aren't distinct enough between the time periods,
Right.
Because I was constantly going and it also is slightly non-linear, a little bit,
Especially the first 30 minutes that
Yeah.
has 5 levels of flashbacks.
Yeah.
Like, De Niro just keeps flashing back in the first 30 minutes, and you're like, where are we?
Yeah. Yeah, I there's just something off about it, and there's something that feels strange and big budget about it, and also very Netflix at the same time.
Yep.
And I can't. That's a really weird way to describe something. Like it does. It looks like the $175 million Netflix movie that it is. Like that's the best way to describe it. It's bizarre because like Six Underground does not feel like a Netflix movie.
No.
That is a Michael Bay movie that just happens to be on Netflix.
Yes.
This is like, okay, I don't understand. Like, did you just like bring in Netflix cameras and crew? Because like there's just something about like it has a Netflix sheen to it, despite the fact like it doesn't look like a Scorsese movie,
Right.
You know, and that's what's the strangest thing to say about it.
Yeah.
Um,
So, for me, like, yes, Goodfellas is the pinnacle. It's just like Goodfellas is amazing. I think Casino is close. I really do. I love Casino to death. I recognize that Casino has some flaws in it and have learned to sort of embrace them over the years. Like, there are some things that are hilarious to me about Casino in which it seems like he will let characters do their line 7 times in a row to decide what take he's going to use, and he just left in all 7 lines. He does that a lot in Casino. I don't know why. The Irishman feels like, okay, the band has finished making all their hit songs.
like the band, like Martin Scorsese, the band.
That would be a
Okay.
more clever analogy,
all right.
but that's not where I was going. Just whatever big-time band has done their thing and had all their hits, and now, 20 years later, they've all gotten back together for one more tour, and let's do all that again.
And they didn't bring along Ray Liotta.
Which, yes. They
I mean, that honestly pissed me off. Like, like the first 20 minutes of this movie, I was just like, oh, this is literally going to be everyone Scorsese's
Right.
ever worked with.
there must have been something there with Ray Liotta where it's just like,
Yeah, because it was like when it started creeping into like vinyl characters, like Ray
Yes.
Romano showed up and Bobby Cannavale showed up, and I was like, oh, okay, it's
Yeah.
all things Scorsese are on the table here. I was just like, Ray Liotta better be fucking showing up here at some point in time.
yeah. So my problems with The Irishman is that it just feels like a retread of places we've been. It feels like, yeah, I saw this in Casino. I saw this in Goodfellas. There's even a level of JFK in there, which I know he didn't direct, but there's some weird ties to that movie that are strange because Joe Pesci makes reference to the character he played in JFK. That's strange. The film runs 3.5 hours. I generally don't have a problem with that. I didn't feel like it was long. We took a break halfway between it just to like have dinner or something. But we were never like, when is this going to wrap up? Although the last like 20 minutes is like, when the fuck is this going to wrap up? But so here's the crux of this movie is that De Niro is just a guy driving a truck, just a guy, and just falls up within this mob organization. For no reason. No one ever explains why they're so enamored with Robert De Niro.
And he also doesn't have that like push and desire that like Ray Liotta does in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Where it's like, this is all I've ever fucking wanted to do.
Yeah, he just at one point is just like, "Hey, you like steaks?" And they're like, "Fuck yeah, I like steaks. You're my right-hand man now, and then you're gonna fuck everybody I know, and it's great. You're gonna be my guy." And that's strange. There's just no explanation for it.
Yeah.
There are things in this movie. There are details in this movie where I'm like, I know where this is going because this is obviously a very fucked up situation, and nothing comes from it. Every mobster that's connected to De Niro is enamored with his underage daughter. They're all just like, man, that young girl you got that never says anything, I would like to hang out with her.
Yeah, that is weird.
And I was like, okay.
Especially, like, that was the weirdest thing about it, I think, is like, it was like he has, they constantly said, I have $4.
Yeah.
Only
The other 3, fuck them.
Yeah,
They don't matter.
Yeah, anyone only cares about this one, and it's like the one in the middle too.
Yeah.
It's not even like, oh, this is like my youngest, most adorable one, or whatever. It's just like
It's just this weird Sullivan that doesn't talk, and they're all like, man, we got to hang out with that kid.
yeah.
And I was like,
need her approval in order to continue my mobster ways.
and then I was like, okay, which of these fucks is going to fuck that kid, and then De Niro has to murder them, and that's going to be the thing. No, that's not the thing at all. The other thing is that there's a lot of Al Pacino as Jimmy Hoffa and Robert De Niro as the guy he's playing, the two of them hanging out in their pajamas, sleeping in the same room. I'm like, are these guys fucking? Like, what weird-ass intimate relationship do these guys have? This is so bizarre. They're just sharing hotel rooms, but just hanging out in their pajamas, just chatting, and then it's like, all right, good night, buddy. And
well, if you come at me, and I got to be the one to put you down into a bed, I'm not going to hesitate.
Wait, did you say they're hanging out in their pajamas in a hotel room?
yeah,
That's like me and Shiny Lights T-Strail every year at the
I mean, we have
Game
theories,
Warp.
dude.
What's
No
that?
judgment here. It's 2019.
It's just weird for these two mob tough guys.
Yeah.
It seems strange. Who
couple of
apparently
guys hanging
have-
out in their pajamas,
No.
just helping each other
dudes
out.
who
No big
apparently
deal.
have a lot of spare cash sharing a hotel room. Jimmy fucking Hoffa.
They do explain that with one piece of dialogue.
Do they?
But yes, they do because
We like to hang out.
well, because the first time they go somewhere, Hoffa's in they're in a suite and Hoffa closes his door into the bedroom part
Yeah.
and De Niro's like sleeping on like a cot.
Right.
But he's just basically like, yeah, Jimmy let me stay in his hotel room. I thought he was trying to be nice, but it's because he was afraid to be alone because people are trying to murder him.
Okay.
So he explains it away with like one bit of dialogue, but
Yeah.
then it's just like, yeah, it's the Jimmy Hoffa pajama party for the rest of the movie.
Yeah,
Maybe he's just cheap.
that too.
Mm-hmm.
I like that Al Pacino gives Jimmy Hoffa an accent the first time he speaks, and then is just his Dick Tracy character the rest of the movie. That's weird to me. That he's like, "Hello, I'm Jimmy Hoffa. How you doing there?" And then like the rest of the movie is just like, "I'm just getting warmed up. I'm Jimmy Hoffa. Ah, you know,
Fucking Kennedys.
where am I? Ah." The whole movie. It's so strange. I am pleased that a lot of people have come upon this movie and been like, "Oh my God, Scorsese's a god. I love everything about this. 5 stars. It's the best film ever." When it was over, I was like, "That was fine," but that was it.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't point to anything in that and go, "That was on the level of this moment in Goodfellas, or this moment in Casino, or this moment in Wolves of Wall Street, or half a dozen other."
It was just one wolf.
Wolf of
Yeah,
sorry,
just one.
I was thinking of the
Singular
porn
wolf.
parody.
Lone wolf.
Wolves of Wall Street.
Wolves of Wall Street.
Dude,
Walls of Wolf Street.
Werewolves of Wall Street.
So, I'm glad he got to make this. I'm glad they all got to come back. I'm glad they all got to do this weird wish fulfillment where they got to look 40 years younger. And I'm glad Joe Pesci got to make another movie because he seemed like he was done with it. And I'm glad that they all got to do it.
I mean, I even like that they reorganized their levels of their characters. Like, I mean, I like that that's kind of flipped on the script because it's like,
Yes.
De Niro was the father-like figure of
Yeah.
the Goodfellas crew,
Right, the calm,
Yeah.
sort of stoic one, and
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's little like character acting moments I think are pretty phenomenal in this movie. Like,
Yes.
like the way Al Pacino ignores the world when he has an ice cream sundae in front of him
Yes.
in this movie is kind of wonderful. Like, it's just like all things do not matter when you put an ice cream sundae in front of Jimmy Hoffa.
I'm eating this. Shut up. Leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, there's little things to like about it, but yeah, it's just like when it was over, I was like, wow, that's really long. Totally could have been trimmed. Again, I know the one of the main things that the internet is talking about because I looked it up because I was very curious about it myself. Like the obsession both in character and with the movie over the one daughter, then suddenly, I'm sorry, but jumping in age 30 years
Yeah.
in one scene.
Right.
Because she's played by Anna Paquin in the older version. And I'm
Right.
like, wait, she was like 10, 12 maybe, and now I'm sorry, but Anna Paquin's close pushing 40. Like,
Yeah.
what?
I know.
And then, like,
That means we're really old.
I know, it does. But, like,
And to have Harvey Keitel in this movie and to not put him in a scene with Anna Paquin is like, why is he the only one who doesn't want to fuck her?
oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. Wow.
That I just kept waiting. The whole movie's like, when is Harvey Keitel going to interact with her? Because I mean, come on, what are you doing?
Uh-huh.
Did you see the piano?
Did you see the piano? I mean, come on.
Oh,
But yeah, and then, like, it's just, like, Anna Paquin sitting in the background not saying anything for long stretches of time, and it was just like,
I think she says like 8 words in the total movie.
She does.
Yeah.
She has literally like, well, I mean, it's more than one line of
Sure.
sentence, but it's like it's literally one section where she says a thing.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, all right, well, you're out of the movie and out of my life.
Yeah,
all
and
that
I mean, I don't subscribe to that. Like, oh, sexism. He didn't give this woman enough words to say. I get that. That's
yeah.
that character,
stuff. Sure.
and I think she does a good job acting that character as it was given to her. She's sullen and quiet and doesn't approve of any of this shit. But why is everyone so enamored with her?
Yeah, I don't know.
So
It's a strange movie, and
Yeah.
one that I can't necessarily like pick out the theme he was really going for. Like I said, it just at this point it was like old man makes his his history hobby movie.
yeah,
I mean, that's what it feels like. It's just like
Well, and then to not okay, so as it was going, I was like, okay, we're doing a greatest hits thing. Okay, what's the Rolling Stones song going to be? What's the montage going to be? And I think the one
was there
thing
a Rolling Stone song I didn't catch.
no,
one.
there's not.
Yeah, ooh.
That's what I'm saying. The soundtrack in this is very lackluster.
Yeah. Hey, you take that back.
Well, okay. So the thing that I just totally lost where I was going with that. Okay. These movies always have it was great while it lasted. Oh shit, everything's fucked up. Everyone's got to get killed.
Mm-hmm.
This movie doesn't do that. What it does instead is that when it introduces a character, it immediately shows you how they died.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just freezes and gives you a title card.
Well,
of,
if they're not going to show you getting
right, yes, if they have no. But it seems like there was a period of time between like 1979 and 1980 where the entire cast got murdered.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, what happened? But we don't get any of that.
Again, like I said, it feels like it's wrapped around to this point where, like, I mean, imagine your dad or your grandpa, depending on your age, whatever like thing they like to read. Like I am super into war, or the Industrial Revolution. That's all I read about.
Yeah.
It just feels like at a certain
that's
point,
my thing.
is like grandpa has been reading books about this thing his whole life, and now he's just made a movie that's so like just for him.
Yeah.
That it's sort of like alienating to people who aren't super into that subject, and not necessarily with this one because it's a slightly more broad story than that, but it feels like there's a lot of detail. It also feels like everything must stay in because everything is super important to me.
Right.
And it's like, dude, at a certain point, you need a fucking editor. Like,
Yeah.
get this shit down to 215. Let's at least.
Let's zip this movie along.
Yeah.
I do appreciate that late in the film, De Niro is describing some of this stuff to a nurse, and the nurse is like, I don't know who Jimmy Hoffa is.
Right.
And it's like, okay, that person is the audience. Thank you very much. Because no one fucking knows who Jimmy
Well, even
Hoffa
it says a line earlier in the movie where he's just like, most people might remember he disappeared.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about him. But I mean, that's almost one of the opening lines. Is he's talking about like he's bigger than the Beatles and Elvis and shit. But anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So is that the end of your rapid fire?
No, I got a few more.
Oh, okay.
That was the least rapid fire.
Yeah,
moment,
that was.
but
Well, that we had a lot.
Well, that was the.
That was a tag team.
That was
We
a
got a
tag
lot
team
to
we both
say
watched.
about this. Do you have a fourth movie?
I have a fourth movie. Yes.
Go ahead.
It's not brand new. Okay, this is the last one for me. Unless you talk about something I've already seen.
Okay.
Listener recommendation, not a 2019 movie, but I believe I explained last podcast many eons ago, it feels like now, that I have a moratorium on watching anything Christmas movie unless it's Accidental Christmas.
Correct.
Prior to at least December or post Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I'm just like, if I know it's a Christmas movie, fuck that. I need to at least wait till after Thanksgiving. It's just like
Fuck that.
like I said, Accidental Christmas is a different thing. Like
give the holidays their space.
right? Yeah. Like I said, if I hadn't seen Lethal Weapon and I just watched it in July, I'd be like, oh shit, I didn't know this is a Christmas movie. Now I do, but Anyway, I watched Anna and the Apocalypse.
Okay.
It was a listener recommendation, I believe, in the last episode, and I've been waiting to watch it. That movie is fucking delightful.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly as advertised. I will say your mileage may vary based on your tolerance for musicals, as always, but there is just something infinitely satisfying about the level of gore that's in that movie and the extremely, like, I'm going to say this in the most positive way possible, but like the High School Musical level of like super pop songs. I think I've seen a little bit of High School Musical. Those are badly written songs. They're not good or catchy.
Okay.
This is like, these are super catchy, super poppy, and enjoyable for the most part, and then just like punctuated with like extreme zombie violence, and it just totally works for me.
Okay.
It has it obviously it belongs on a shelf with like Shaun of the Dead. That goes without saying. It's British and it's zombies and it's kind of a comedy, but I like that it never dives into like that homage like parody level thing where it's just like we're so enamored with this and we want to make the next one of these that it's like it just becomes too close and then almost like a parody of the thing. It's able to stand it and have its own sense of style throughout, I feel like, despite like circling around all these other things like that. I feel like it's great. I feel like all the parts are played really well. It's super good, and like I said, it's a hard thing for me to try to sell or sell you on. Like, if I tell you it's a zombie-themed musical that takes place at Christmas, if that floats your boat, then watch it, because like it's a very niche thing of like trying to sell that to somebody.
Sure.
Like, there's a lot of things like, well, I don't like zombie movies. Okay, well, I don't like Christmas movies. Okay, we're out. Well, I really hate musicals. Well, you know what? That's also not for you. But if all of those three things strike your fancy, this is a fantastically fun little movie.
Okay. Cool.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
I don't have any comments on it
Okay.
just yet.
I plan to watch it soon.
I will probably be watching it soon as well.
Okay. 2 last quick things, and then we're done, I think.
Okay.
So I want to recommend a movie that I want to tell you how to watch.
Okay.
Okay, so give it a shot.
There's a movie. Okay, we've talked about this on the show before, or at least privately in conversations. So the world is now enamored with Keanu Reeves, right?
Yes.
But if you think about it, he makes John Wick movies, and everyone's like, "Yay, we love Keanu!" And then he also makes 3 other movies a year, and no one gives a fuck about any of them.
We don't know about them.
No, they don't get any attention. They don't get any play. No one speaks of them at all. So he had one that came out this year in January called Replicas,
Okay.
where he's
I actually heard about this one.
Yeah.
but,
Never heard of it.
okay. This is a 1950s mad scientist movie, except it takes place now.
Oh, okay.
He is trying to transfer human consciousness into an artificial brain inside.
Is he the mad scientist?
Yes.
Ooh.
He's trying to transfer human consciousness into an artificial robot. And some other things go horribly wrong, and he has to alter his plans. There is something. This movie is kind of a serious tragedy film in a way. It is, but it is also funny as shit. And I don't think it's supposed to be, but the way everyone is playing it is hilarious, and you can get a great level of enjoyment out of this film if you just go with it.
Okay.
I have a feeling a lot of people got about 15 minutes into this and were like, "Man, this fucking sucks. Fuck everything about this." Don't do that.
Okay.
Just go with it. It is bizarre. It is a mind fuck, weird ass movie, and it's a fun little Keanu Reeves building robots thing. I can't even describe the plot because it's so bizarre and out there, but it's really worth watching. And there's one line in this movie that I will quote till the end of time.
All right.
It is right up there with Not Great Bob as a good comeback for a very specific situation that someone will say to you, and you can say this line back. Okay, so
Is that how we're supposed? Oh, I thought you were saying like how we could actually view the film.
Oh, you can watch it wherever movies are rented or
Well,
sold.
I know. I thought like this was a weird movie that
No.
disappeared.
No.
You're just
Oh,
telling
no,
us.
no.
I'm saying your
instructional-
first reaction.
I knew Chuck was trying to instruct me as to the manner in which I
Yes,
should enjoy
I'm
the
saying
movie.
your first reaction to this movie will be, "Man, fuck this. What are they doing?"
Okay.
But you should stick with it and just realize that it's on another weird plane of existence. I know you guys don't like the Wicker Man remake. I realize I am the defender of that movie because
That's why we didn't let you on the podcast.
I
on
know
the first episode.
I know because I wasn't on board, but it's kind of that in a way. It's not as over the top as that, but it's still kind of over the top.
I think,
How to get burned?
man, I think if we watched Wicker Man, if we had never watched Wicker Man and watched it today, we would love the Wicker Man.
I agree. I said that in my review when I was. So anyway, okay. I talked about all those movies to talk about this.
Oh God.
You guys ever seen the Bee movie?
Fuck you. Yes.
Wait a minute. Is this
Was Jerry Seinfeld like I'm a bee?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I saw it.
That movie's great.
Is it though?
What is the deal with honey?
So I paid zero fucking attention to that. It was like, who gives a shit? Fucking DreamWorks face Jerry Seinfeld doing a Bee movie. I just figured it was Jerry Seinfeld is a bee, and that's the movie.
Well, I mean, that is kind of the movie, right?
No.
Jerry,
He's a bee.
Jerry Seinfeld's that bee from Apartment 2B or whatever.
So you're trying to tell me that the Bee movie starred Jerry Seinfeld? Jerry Seinfeld's not a bee.
He is a bee.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
He is a bee.
But the movie's not.
Okay.
Jerry Seinfeld is me.
First of all, let me say, in the supporting cast is Patrick Warburton, who is Patrick Warburtoning the fuck out of this character that he's playing.
Of course, why wouldn't he?
He is fucking screaming his head off at times, and it is the funniest thing. And this is before people were really sure about Patrick Warburton, maybe. I don't know if people are sure about him now, but... but
I can't make up my mind.
he's going out of his mind. And the reason he's going out of his mind is that Jerry Seinfeld, as a bee, has stolen his human girlfriend. This
Wait a minute. So did the Nasonex commercial steal this sort of thing from the Bee movie?
maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Get it?
Yeah. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
Nasonex.
The other thing, this is the direction in this movie is, you know how the Ant-Man movies do really interesting, they're tiny and they're in common things, but they're inside of it and it's real weird.
Right.
The Bee movie does that. Did it before.
Is it a woman? Is
Is
that the weird?
No. He does
I mean,
not,
you said he stole the.
he does not
stole
enter
Patrick
a woman
War-
on screen.
Dolores.
He
That-
stole,
that
he stole
doesn't
Patrick
happen.
Warbeaton's girlfriend. So
No, there is no sex to save the friendship. There's none of that. If that happens, it happens off screen.
okay.
But yeah, they do a lot of like now the bees in an air conditioning unit, and it's all the gears are weird and everything, and then it's a big like Rube Goldberg kind of escape. How do you get out of this? Oh no, this is collapsing in. It's neat. It's better than I think it has any right to be. I think it's better than what people think it is. It's fucking out there. Ray Liotta is in it as himself. That's strange.
Okay.
I guess the lesson of the Bee movie is just be yourself.
You guys should watch the Bee movie. If you've seen it, you should fucking watch it again.
Okay.
It's real good.
Oh,
It's
boy.
real good. It's way better than it should be.
Bee.
I'm just saying.
Oh, honey.
The movie's delightful. It is
Okay.
a delightful film.
All right.
I'm done.
Okay. Now that you've pollinated that idea out to the,
Yeah,
to
just
the
got
universe.
it all over the place.
Huh. Are you just peddling peddling these old DreamWorks?
Yes.
Okay. All right. I
don't
don't have any other movies. I brief.
I just want to do my Jerry Seinfeld impression.
Just a brief thing, not movie, but movie related thing that is out there.
Uh-huh.
I watched. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch them all. Kind of like the other sister series. I watched all of the movies that made us. The
Oh, right.
documentary series that's made from the Toys That Made Us guy.
Yeah, they're about movies.
Yeah, the thing about these versus the toy ones is, don't get me wrong, a lot of the toy ones go to the manufacturers, but I feel like they supplement a lot of the interview type stuff with collectors and things like that. It's like it's like equal parts. Like, okay, here's the guy who designed whatever thing for Mattel or something. But
Here's a
then
guy
like
who has a
here's
bunch of them.
here's a guy who's collected like 87 Boba Fett's or whatever. You know, like
Right.
like this one actually fires the rocket. You know, but this one is like pretty much nearly like 95% all people behind the scenes of the movie.
Okay, good.
Nine times out of 10 they will not get certain people that you kind of want to hear from, obviously, but yeah, they're enjoyable, and like a couple of them are like strangely really good. Like I watched Die Hard first because I mean they say like watch them whatever order you want. So it's Die Hard, it's Home Alone, Dirty Dancing, and the fuck is the last one?
Grease.
God damn it! Wow,
God damn
Ghostbusters.
it is Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Ghostbusters.
Thanks.
I was going to say Ghostbusters.
So I watched the Die Hard one first, the Ghostbusters one second, because that was the order in which I cared about the movies.
Sure, that makes sense.
Then I watched Home Alone, then I watched Dirty Dancing, pretty much in that order.
That exactly is
Yeah.
the right order.
Home Alone, I think, is the best episode.
Home Alone, I think.
I think.
Alone is the best.
I mean, I'm not saying Home Alone's the best movie out of that pile. I think it's like, I just think it ends up being the most interesting episode.
Do they talk to Joe Pesci?
No.
Oh.
Daniel Stern, though.
Oh, okay. I'm back in.
I mean, unfortunately with Daniel Stern, unfortunately with the Home Alone episode, there are a lot of people they can't interview.
Yes.
but they do an interesting. They do an interesting tribute to some of the people without being too annoying about it. Like I feel like that's there's a level of like, oh no, person's dead. Like let's make a sappy like try to get you moment in a documentary, but they play out really well in this somehow. Like I just feel like they're good at making compelling documentaries.
Okay.
They're not always the most thorough per se, but like they're interesting enough little jaunts into.
Well, I mean, like Home Alone, John Hurd died, but who else?
John Hughes is dead.
Right. John Candy.
John Candy, yeah, was briefly mentioned. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like it's things like that. There's a lot of like, some people that were in it.
Okay.
Obviously, some of the older characters, like the old man with
yes,
the shovel and stuff. It's like he's
old
been,
man is dead.
He's been dead for a long time, I think.
He
but
died
anyway,
shortly thereafter.
yeah. Anyway, like I said, I was shocked because I think Home Alone, like as a singular episode, was the wildest, most interesting, and emotional journey. Strangely, out of all of those.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, strangely, even though I would say it's my favorite movie on the list, I think the Die Hard episode might actually be the worst one.
Is Bruce Willis in that episode?
No. I mean, because I feel like that's. I will say I was shocked.
Everyone else is dead.
I was shocked that they had as much screen time as they had with John McTiernan, because he's out of jail now. And
He is out of jail,
Yeah, and,
yes.
Yeah, they had him for a while.
Okay.
And, anyway,
What did he go to jail for?
Murder for hire.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, yeah.
something like that. Yeah, it was a whole weird thing.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it was murder for hire. I think
it was.
I think it was just more like some like weird business. I don't know.
Weird
I
business.
no, I went and read it because like as soon as when he showed up, I was like, oh yeah, fuck. Why? What is? I know he did something. What did he do? And I Wikipedia him or whatever, and it was like, I don't know. He's not well liked in Hollywood for whatever the fuck it was that he did. I don't think it was like murder.
Lying to the FBI.
Okay.
Oh, pshaw, that's barely even a crime.
Anyway, I'm just saying, like I feel like
Lying to the police is our duty as Americans.
I feel like the Die Hard one plays out the worst. Like I feel like it's. Yeah, it just doesn't play out as a good episode.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of interesting things that they.
Was it just a bunch of It's a Christmas Movie bullshit?
No, it's just they go for they try to go for sappy nostalgia and it doesn't work in that
Sappy nostalgia for Die Hard?
one. A little bit, like it's just I mean, all these things are just at that age where it's like, remember? Oh, I remember. Like I mean, they all kind of sort of do this.
That feels like a stretch for Die Hard. Like I don't think you need sappy nostalgia for Die Hard because it's good.
It's older than you think it is. Is all I mean. It's just like it's one of those things.
Yes, it is old, but
yeah. I know.
I just mean that like you don't need that angle for
sure.
Die Hard necessarily
Yeah.
because you don't need to rely on sappiness or nostalgia for Die Hard because it's good.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Well, and it's in the public consciousness every year. Like there is no like, oh man, remember Die Hard? It's like, no, shut up about Die Hard.
yeah. Like I said, I feel like of all of them, the movie I like the most ends up being the worst episode. But the whole series is worth watching.
Did they get the limo driver? He's in it.
Yeah.
Argyle?
All right.
Yeah.
They get the bear.
The bear?
The teddy bear?
Oh. I was like,
the grizzly.
yeah, I mean,
Reginald Vell Johnson.
Teddy was not the first thing that came to my head, and I was like, was there a person called Bear, or was there an action? What the fuck are you talking about?
Holly Bernaro. I have a weird question. I've been watching the second season, I think, of The Toys That Made Us. Maybe third season.
And to be fair, I think those have gotten better too. Like,
yeah. The production value
Yeah.
and like.
It's less of the narrator wacky, like, and then this guy said.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, shut up.
well, sometimes they still get weird with that. Like,
That's the-
it's gotten better with that jokey stuff though. Like the Lego one is really funny.
Yeah.
because they keep cutting back to this guy talking about the system, like for interlocking the bricks, and it's actually funny. Okay.
But I actually like the narrator now.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like I've had a DJ Atomica moment.
He's just trying to help us.
Listen to the No Quarters, all of them, for our opinions on DJ Atomica, the other podcast that we do. But I've like come around that he's gotten better not only at his narration, but also like toning down the smarminess and everything, and just like rolling it back to being a little bit more of a normal narrator, and then every once in a while he goes over here. That's not a faithful interpretation of him. It's but it is an example.
Yeah, I would say the movies that made is a little bit strange because it's diverging enough from the Toys That Made Us formula that I feel like it's starting off better than that did, but it like if they do another series of this, it'll be better. Like
Gotcha,
you know,
yeah.
like it's better than where Toys That Made Us started, where it was like, oh, this is pretty much 100% nostalgia fuel, and not actually. And not that they're bad. I actually found
Right.
like the Barbie episode to be fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, and that's in the first batch. But you know, like like I said, I don't know if we're calling them seasons or just here's another collection or
They
whatever.
either call them collections or seasons on
seasons.
Netflix.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's I like this one's pretty good. I feel like if they do more, it'll be even better for this.
Yeah.
So that's it. Just a little PSA that it's out there.
I don't want them. I want them to do a second season so they can do. Oh no, he's dead. Fuck.
That was a great story. There's a lot of
No, I
there's
wanted
quite a
like I
roller
was like
coaster.
I really want them to interview Wilhelm von Homburg, aka Norbert Group,
Oh.
the guy that played Vigo the Carpathian.
Oh, yeah,
because
that-
he
oh, yeah,
apparently
that-
he was a pretty
Oh, everyone hated that guy.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he had quite a storied past apparently.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe I should just look and see if there are interviews with Norbert Group. I think that was like his. I'm hiding from the police name or something.
Sounds like one.
Yeah. Who the fuck would call themselves Norbert?
Right.
Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Oh, that's Norbit.
Norbert.
Norbert.
Yeah.
We did have an email. Do we want to tackle that now?
Oh, we got an email.
What was it about?
Hang on. let me
It's kind of just a.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
I mean, it's a story, but it's kind of a technical question. It's not necessarily.
Oh.
It's not one that needs Mackie per
Okay.
se.
Ah,
All right.
technical.
This is from WordPress, who says your site has been updated to WordPress 5.3.2.
Okay.
Thanks, WordPress.
All right. Yeah,
Yeah.
we didn't need Maggie for that
I
at all.
did. I started. It's
I just that was the one that came up. It just came in. So, okay. Now live on your channel, BMFcast.
Okay.
I'm scrolling.
Oh, was that from YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, YouTube sent us a personal email.
thanks,
That's great.
Thanks, YouTube. Keep sucking.
Is this the most recent one that you've starred?
It should be
From
Alan.
Alan? Okay.
Alan.
Let me sit up straight and
Oh,
wet my whistle a little bit so that I
here we
don't
go.
fuck this up.
get ready for the most important email of the day.
Honestly, yeah, this is the most important email of my day. Because fuck work.
Fuck work.
Okay, go away. Notifications.
Yeah, it's good work if you can get it.
It's real work. Sex workers unite.
Sex workers untie.
That too.
Alan Butler says, hello, BMFers. As a longtime listener, even during the dark BC era, of course, I've picked up on a few subtle cues. For one, it seems you guys watch a fair amount of televisable things. For another, it seems you do so on a variety of different television and non-television devices. Given those details discerned from my practiced ear, it seems you guys might be a good source of opinions on a worth it question about televisions. I've got one of the last Panasonic plasma TV models they made before that particular tech flavor went out of style. It's great, as you'd expect. Great color, sharp details, awesome black levels that work well with things like my favorite movie, Alien, or playing Dead by Daylight. It also does a nice job of helping keep the living room warm this time of year. Anyway, as you also know, that TV is also fairly long in the tooth as far as these things go. My real question, especially during this time of ever-falling prices, how big an upgrade would a solid 4K TV be from that old 1080p plasma? I know it's not nearly as big a jump as a standard def to HD was, but I also know that you guys will not infrequently comment on how awesome, beautiful, gorgeous, etc. certain things are on a 4K screen. So I'm asking just how big a difference you think it makes, and whether any of you think you might have been just as happy keeping your old TV until, I don't know, 8K becomes affordable, or something of the like. Ideally, I'd be looking for a good projector, but my house doesn't really have a room that's well suited enough to make it a worthwhile investment. Given how much I like my plasma's qualities, I'd probably be... Almost made one take. Given how much I like my plasma's qualities, I'd probably be eyeballing an OLED TV, but again, I'm on the fence about this. No pressure, guys. Appreciate your thoughts. Appreciate your weekly, and more, efforts. Have gotten my girlfriend... Oh, that's an odd sentence. I'm
Go
sorry.
on.
Appreciate your thoughts. Appreciate your weekly and more efforts. Have even gotten my girlfriend watching the 30 in 30 Days recaps, and she hates horror movies, etc., etc., etc. USJW snowflakes make life go by more enjoyably, and I bid a happy Festivus to you all. Crash, slays, and burn frankincense. Alan, sent from inside the house. I tried a different style of reading. Hopefully, you're still awake.
Well, Chuck also does 31 and 31, not 30 and 30.
Maybe
he's not ESPN.
He wrote 30 in 30 Days, and I knew that was
I do that.
Incorrect.
I also do that ESPN show. So
Yeah. It's
maybe that's what they meant.
So, televisions, you guys.
Look, here's the thing.
I have opinions. No.
If there's nothing wrong with your current television, researching anything right now is silly. It just, I mean, you can maybe have one, like a short list in case your television blows up like mine did recently.
That's what I would do.
But to like zero in on a technology or a brand or something right now don't do that.
Yeah.
I would
Go ahead.
I would say if you're looking to upgrade your TV, start saving for like the OLED. You know, like you want an OLED, you probably want to go bigger than what you've got right now. So start putting your money aside and look in the direction of the things that are available now. But like a plasma TV is good, and it does, save on heating bills in the winter if you're watching it, by costing you way more money in electricity probably. But they look great. I mean, 4K. So here's my opinion on the upgrade from 1080 to 4K. I wouldn't bother if you're just going to go to something that's 4K. You also need to get a TV that does the HDR because that is where the magic really happens.
Yeah,
to me.
it's not in the resolution. It's 100% in the color palette.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can speak to this directly because I went.
You have the biggest and baddest.
Well, I
TV
went
also.
from plasma to
Yeah.
LCD or LED, I guess, to OLED. And
Oh,
so-
yours is an OLED?
Yeah, this is now. And I will
It's a
say,
good-looking TV, my friend.
absolutely do not go with a non-OLED if you're coming from plasma. You will hate your life. The black levels will. I mean, even on a quantum dot or any of those other things, you are not going to be happy. I don't care if it has 187,000 dimming points. You're still going to see those try to click on and off in areas, and it's going to look bad. OLED, you're not going to get that, but you're going to pay for it. Like it's just they're not cheap. The other thing to be very cautious about that I learned is the unfortunate thing about HDR, and maybe HDR10 is not as bad. Dolby Vision can literally get patched out of your TV. They have revisions like HDMI to it that, like, at a certain point, like my previous to this OLED TV had Dolby Vision when I bought it. Xbox recognized it. I could play content. I could play discs, whatever, get Dolby Vision out of it. Then one day, it was never very good at it because, I mean, again, I'm coming from plasma world, and like the levels on that TV were just impossible to get black levels right. Every dark scene would just look blown out and weird. But then one day it was just like, no, your Dolby Vision is now no longer a supported thing by any device I plugged into it. It was just like the Apple TV, the Xbox, anything that could do these things was just like Dolby Vision.
Was that an
nah.
update on your TV
Yes.
or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, a little bit of both. I mean, it's like, yeah, it could have been. It could have been the playing device too. It could have just been like, we now require Dolby Vision 3.2 or whatever the fuck number is behind the scenes,
fair.
and like your TV doesn't do it. So guess what? It doesn't have this feature anymore.
Well, I am going to patch a recommendation onto that, which is if you have a television which has internet connectivity,
Turn that shit off.
turn it off.
Yep.
Turn it the fuck off because you do not need it, and all smart TV features are bad.
I mean, that's not really true anymore, but
Well, now that they all got caught spying on us, then yeah. But
no, I mean, like I'm saying that the built-in app experience is now no longer garbage.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
mean, they finally put in fast enough processor memory, all that.
Oh,
It's
did
like
they
it's the same as like a set-top box, just within your television.
question: is that your experience with your TV or with most new
Several
TVs?
TVs.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Samsung.
I just wanted to know your sample size because
Yeah.
I still have yet to interact with a smart TV that's any fucking good at all. So.
I mean, I have a cheaper 4K TV that's one of those like TCL, so it has the built-in Roku. That is just like having a Roku built into your TV. I mean, it is absolutely no different than the Roku stick experience or any other device.
I got you.
It is just, if you don't like Roku, you're stuck with it because it's the whole menu for the television and everything.
Right.
And it's a little annoying. The LG, the primary TV I have, has that weird WebOS thing, which was kind of garbage on the old TV because they didn't put a fast enough processor in there to run it. Like, you would open up an app and like 30 minutes later you might have like, oh, we've run out of memory kind of error and crash the app.
Yeah.
I've not had that. I've done a fuckload of YouTube and things on
Okay.
it, especially YouTube because Google is Google and they change shit on a weekly basis. These set-top boxes 9 times out of 10 can't keep up with whatever YouTube's decided it needs for 4K this week. Like, like they can't update them fast enough because YouTube's like, we're using this codec. It's H267 now. Like what?
Like what? What was 266?
Most of I like to think a lot of our listeners have devices of some sort that they use instead, and
Sure.
those are
Yeah, they're generally better. Yes.
gonna be a lot better. Like,
But I'm saying don't sleep on the built-in stuff now. I mean, if you're worried about it getting patched out of existence, yeah, okay, maybe that's a concern. I feel like the problem with my previous television is that it was in that early beta run of the 4K sets. Like, it was like, it's not really ready for prime time. We've settled on some standards. I feel like my TV going forward, knock on wood, whatever, I think it's going to be fine for the foreseeable future. Because I started at a higher tier TV, so it's like,
yeah, you did buy a nice TV.
yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, all right, if tomorrow is like they went around to like all the Toyota Yaris's and like said, hey, you know what, you've got a piece of shit car. We've taken out Android Auto, CarPlay. Fucking suck a dick. There's like they're not going to feel as bad about doing that as if they did that to like the fucking like Mercedes, AMG class, like, because those people would be like, hey, like I just spent $120,000 on my car. You can't take a feature away.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to say suck a dick to the people that bought a $10,000 car.
Right.
My point is,
Yes.
I'm not trying to
Because the
be a-
Yaris owners are angrily filling out a postcard. Like,
Right.
excuse me.
Yeah.
Now, where do I mail this?
Yeah. So I'm just saying that, like, by starting at a higher tier TV, it is less likely that they're going to patch something out of it, but it is still a potential. But like the voice capabilities and things like that that are built into some of these TVs are pretty fucking cool. Especially like the Samsung ones have Google Assistant built in, so it's super snappy and fast. It's Samsung TVs, like, you can literally download an Apple TV onto the television. Like, it is its own full-fledged ecosystem on the TV. I think Vizios might have that now too, perhaps. Yeah, but anyway, it's like the smart TV experience has gone a long ways.
I do not like yelling at devices, period. This is well documented, but so I would not like that.
Okay, boomer.
It's just not it's just not an experience that I enjoyed.
yeah.
Like, I've tried the whole like yelling at my phone thing, and I for a while walked into your house and yelled at your house to turn the lights on when you weren't here, and like half the time whenever we try to search movies with the voice app thing on the Apple TV,
Well, I'm also using Siri. That's your mileage may fucking vary
doesn't
there.
fucking work. And also, it's like kind of a. I just realized I have a real dumb opinion about the listening in your house all the time, because my phone's listening in my house all the time too. But yeah,
Just give in to Big Brother. Let it happen.
I also don't feel like it responds fast enough, any of it yet. Like, I want the computer turn on my lights and they just fucking go, and none of that shit works fast enough for me. Anyhow, that's just me being cranky about that. But yeah, save up and look.
But yeah,
and
like
get
I said,
an OLED.
Yeah, do not go anything less than an OLED if you're coming from plasma. That's my pro tip. That's the bottom line.
Chuck, you have any TV opinions?
No, my one right at the top was just, if your TV's fine right now, don't worry about it.
Yeah. I mean,
agree.
plasmas are awesome. It is an awesome tech. I mean,
But-
you can't beat the refresh rate on those, no matter what you get.
I mean, by all means, start putting money towards a category of TV that you're interested in, and you might find that by the time you actually do upgrade, it is cheaper than what you've put away for it.
Yeah, know your goal.
Yeah.
Like if
yeah,
you have a
fucking
goal,
know your goal.
know your goal and shut,
Shut
your
your
mouth.
Oh, go ahead.
If you have a goal for like this is the kind of TV I want right now, just set that goal and save towards it, but don't get rid of your.
Yeah. One last thing, and this is LG TV specific because I'm sure other manufacturers do this, but I feel like this one's particularly kind of shitty and egregious. The main thing that you need to realize when you're looking at those is what they will do. I don't remember the numbers per se, but let's just for sake of example, let's say there's like a 4 series and a 5 series, and you're maybe going like, okay, well, why is the 4 series like $500 less than the other one? That's because every year what they do is they take last year's model TV and then turn it into the next series down. So if you buy a 2019 4 series, you're actually really getting a 2018, what was the top of the line in 2018. Not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just warning you that like if it's sort of like the NVIDIA graphics card thing where it's like if you're going up to the next generation, you know, you can move one level down and still be higher than there's like a weird math thing of like buying graphics cards because it's like they go up this much by the generation and then the second number is like it's, you know, hierarchy tier of how quality is, and it's like if you go up a generation you can go down a second number and still be better than where you were, you know, or something like that. It's
So you can go from a
970
from
like,
a 980 to
Yeah.
a 1070,
Yeah,
and you're
and
still,
you're still
doing
getting it up.
better
Yeah.
than
Yeah. So it's like it's dumb like that. But anyway, techie nerdy shit. I just want
1060 to a 970, and you're still better off. Something like that.
Well, yeah,
There's some way that has to work that makes it sound right. I don't know. Fuck it. Anyway,
Yeah.
buy a TV or not, we don't give a shit. Happy fucking holidays.
Yeah, like I said,
Bye.
Just remember, it's not the resolution; it's the new color palette. That's where you're going to be like, oh damn, like
Yeah.
it's the HDR stuff.
You're gonna get a 4K TV, whatever fucking new TV you buy. So get the good HDRs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Get an
buying an
OLED.
OLED, you can't even buy non-HDR TVs.
Yeah. Get an OLED. Hold your phone 3 inches in front of your face if you want a big TV or whatever.
Yeah,
You probably have a really nice screen on your phone.
Yeah, just
Whatever.
like, you know, if you have an OLED or, you know, faster refresh rate
Yeah.
phone, like just stick it in front of your face and see how it feels.
I mean, you could just like the resolutions of the phones nowadays. You don't
Yeah.
even need a TV. You just like say Martin Scorsese's name 3 times, hang your phone in front of your face, and
And you can't
Watch a movie.
Can't watch Marvel movies.
yeah.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm due for a TV replacement, so this has been a good refresher for me. I don't need to replace my TV, but it is a 7-year-old 1080p Vizio, which, you know, I'm surprised it's hung on. It's got a pixel that's got like 4 pixels over on the left-hand side that are trying to give up, but that motherfucking TV, that TV was like $400, and I did not deserve it at the time. But it's fucking hung on. I don't know how. I guess it's all that money that Vizio made from stealing my information that they were able to put out a decent TV for
I
cheap.
still have my first HD TV. Still works to this day.
Like your first flat panel.
Yep.
Wow.
Like, is it a CRT flat panel?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that flat panel, not flat screen.
Right.
I had a flat screen HD TV that was 165 pounds.
It's an Olivia.
Olivia.
See, I don't think I ever had a flat screen CRT like that was like widescreen. I think I jumped right to like one of the rear projection ones.
Was the Wega widescreen?
Some of the late ones were.
Yeah, I think because I remember watching stuff that had side boxes on it. Yeah, that motherfucker.
Oh, and last pro tip: learn day one how to turn your motion smoothing or whatever they all call on your TV off.
Oh yeah,
Such a
figure out how to
nightmare
do it.
on every television.
That should be the default setting, but fight that battle later.
Also, hey, you're going over to your family's house for Christmas. It's coming up, right? It's Friday. Christmas is in a few days, so just when you get to your family's house, be like, hey, where's the TV remote? Turn off motion smoothing for your family.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing them and us a favor.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Except for sports.
Yeah.
I like motion smoothing on it. Sports.
Looks good.
Yeah. Have turn off interpolation on your interpersonal relationships.
Yes.
On your interpol relations.
The internet is telling you to de-interpolate your interpersonal relationships.
Yes.
I made it through.
Yeah.
I made it through that entire thing.
I'm the
I don't
very
know how.
model of a modern major general. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, so I think that's going to wrap it up for this big
This-
old thick-ass back half.
This long and winding half. Yeah.
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 Hey, we've been catching up on some mostly 2019 movies. It's it's year end. That's what you got to do.
Got a
You're
job
right.
to do.
It's maybe you're not. It's maybe decade end or not. I don't know. Depends on.
Technically, it is not decade.
I know this.
Still.
Yeah.
But
This next decade, whenever it actually happens, I'm going to try to be less pedantic.
technically correct. The best kind of correct. Yeah, so that's going to wrap it up. BMFcast.com is the website. BMF at BMFcast.com is the email address. We are on Twitter, and we kind of ignore Facebook in general, but find us. We got a Discord, BMFcast.com, buttons on the right-hand side. We have a Patreon. That's the most important thing. Except for your family this Christmas is to remember the gifts that we give you in podcasting and the gifts you should give us in return, which is money, by joining our Patreon. Just $1 a month gets you extra content, and as you go up in dollars, so do you go up in content. Receive the gift of our dulcet tones in your ears by giving us a gift at patreon.com/BMFcast.
Yep. All right. Let's get at her, shall we?
Yeah.
I'm Harlow.
I'm BJ.
I'm Chuck.
And for the absent Mackie, this is BMFcast out.
Absent Mackie.
Absent Mackie, happy Christmas. Happy Honda Days, Merry Toyotathon, festive Lexus December to remember, Joyeux Noel, Happy Kwanzaa,
Yeah. Mazel tov to your Hanukkah.
Mazdel Tov.
Mazda days.
Yeah. Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah is the Festival of Lights.
Hanukkah actually starts on the 24th.
23rd, I thought.
Oh, I thought it
It's
was-
sundown on the 23rd. I
Oh,
think.
right. Sundown. Yeah. I got to take care. Yeah. But no, yeah. Because I remember like looking at the calendar. It was like, oh, it's really Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, because it's like
Yeah.
Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, like bam, bam, bam. Like,
Yep.
all in a row this time.
I mean, I guess for... Well, let me look at the calendar. My coworker was like, yeah, Hanukkah starts on the 23rd. She's Jewish, but she was doing she was playing it up a little bit.
Oh, she was Natasha Leoning. Or it's like, I'm going to turn on Super Jewish right now.
Right. It's
Like, wait, you're not 80.
she's from New York State. She's Jewish, but she doesn't really sound like it until she starts reminding you that she's Jewish from New York State.
Right. Well, they all become their grandmothers. That's what it is. Or it's just well, I do the same thing. Like if I tell someone I'm from the South, I suddenly become my grandparents. We're like, hey, y'all. I mean, that's not me.
Hanukkah 2019 will begin the evening of Sunday, December 22nd, and ends the evening of Monday, December 30th.
Oh, well, who the fuck lied to me? Did you fucking lie to me?
It's funny. I was closing. This is work is poison.
It's me. I lied to myself.
No gods, no masters. So I was like closing all my windows and everything here, not in the house, but on my computer. And I started looking for the link to the time card website so I could clock out. I was like, oh, I need to remember to clock out before. Oh, fuck! God damn it. Work is poison. Quit your job, do what you love. Your masters are trying to starve you anyway. Either you starve to death doing what you love, or you starve to death working for the man.
I actually just got to bring back old SNL. Cal was asking about Anna and the Apocalypse, and I said I loved it. It was better than Cats, most likely. Oh, sick burn! Now we'll actually be able to say that when we see The Rise of Skywalker next week. I loved it. It was better than Cats. I'm going to see it again and again.
Perfect. Finally, the universe lines up.
Yep. All right. Good night, everyone. Shutting it down.
Good night. Thanks for joining us for the live stream. No gods, no masters.
No sticks, no stems, no seeds. It's real sticky.